everyone knows who AK Nation is. The AK Nation TV, and what's your other channel? AK Nation TV. What's your other channel?
AK Nation News.
Okay, big time basketball fan, and he's got a very popular podcast, and he's been on the show already once before. And here we go. For Mike, this is Mike Tillery. He's a friend of mine, known him for like 30 years. He's a sports writer, reporter, radio host, podcaster for 25 years. He's written for Slam Magazine, Sacramento Mag, New York Times, Bleaker Report, a bunch of other ones. He was co-founder of the groundbreaking and first sports blog to be credentialed by both the NBA and the NFL called The Starting Five. He's done over 800 interviews of college and pro athletes and comedians and musicians. This is Mike Tillery. So everybody give him a warm welcome there in the threads. So we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark and Juju Watkins for right now, because Mike and I already had a discussion on this, but we're going to have it live in the air. So my feeling is that Caitlin Clark is the best college player since Cheryl Miller, and will go down as the best player in WNBA history. I think there's about a 90% chance of that. Juju Watkins, I think, is a phenomenal player who's inefficient on offense for a volume shooter, who's a great defender, but doesn't really make her teammates better much. But is such a super talent athletically and size-wise, she would probably be one of the top 5 players in college history and one of the top 5 players in WNBA history. I just don't think she'll be as good as Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal passer and a much better shooter.
You think Juju Watkins is one of the top 5?
I think she'll go down as one of the top 5 players in college history. And Mike thinks it's stronger than that. So I'm in the middle of you two. And I think one of the top 5 players in WNBA history. And I think her inability to not make her teammates better at this point, in fact, she has more turnovers than assists, she's not going to be as good as Caitlin Clark, even though she's a better defender. And while Caitlin Clark does have her efficiencies defensively, I think she will get better because she has a new coach this year that stresses defense. And she's also a good off-the-ball defender, but not a good on-ball defender because she has terrible stance and she doesn't bend her knees. But she gets a lot of blocks and steals for a defender who's considered someone who's not considered a good defender. And so she's a good off-the-ball defender at times. Anyways, that's my analysis of those two people. But go ahead, Mike. Tell me what you think of Juju and her potential and what you think of Caitlin Clark. You told me on the phone, and I'm going to tell you now, you said you didn't think she was one of the top 30 players of all time in college basketball history. You thought she was somewhere between 30 and 40. I have her like tied for first, and you have her 30 to 40. That's a big difference. One of us is delusional. But go ahead. Tell us why you think she's not. Other than
I could probably name 8 players each from UConn and Tennessee. Okay, that have done more historically than Caitlin Clark. Both sides of the ball, winning championships. We can talk Shamika Holdsclaw, Candace Parker. We can speak of a myriad of UConn players. Taurasi, Maya Moore, who all have multiple championships. When we were speaking on the phone, even now, you're talking about Caitlin Clark, being great at passing, and then you follow that up with she's not a great defensive player, but you kind of cast off the defensive side of the ball, and this has become such a popular topic in an entertainment, social media driven world where the one side of the ball isn't respected. And that one side of the ball wins championships.
When we talked on the phone, you said that when you rank a player, you rank them around 50-50, but yet you also said you would rather have a defensive player because you need to stop at the end of the game. So you seem to indicate almost great defense higher than offense when I spoke with you.
And I spoke to you about the comparison is Steve Nash versus Chauncey Billups. Look at how they're popularized, either being a villain or the hero, and it has garnered Steve Nash to win 2 MVPs. Chauncey Billups never won an MVP. We can speak that Steve Nash won more MVPs than probably 5 top 10 legends.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you think that in offense it's easier to make your teammates better? So maybe when you rank a player offensively, it may be more important because you can do more to improve you as a player and to do more in the court offensively because you can make your teammates better. In defense, team defense isn't nearly as dynamic as offense where you can kind of make your teammates better as much.
As I spoke to you on the phone, I think that whole making the teammates better means nothing if you don't win a championship.
What if your teammates aren't that good? What if your teammates are 4-star recruits instead of 5-star recruits like UConn and Tennessee and South Carolina?
Well, that's the reason why she might not have won. Okay, so what you're saying, if you put 5 Caitlin Clarks out there, she would have won the championship. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if she went to UConn, she would have won 3 or 4 championships easily, or South Carolina, she would have won 4 championships, and she'd be the same player that she is, although she wouldn't have score as many points. She'd be the same player. She just didn't have good as teammates. What do you think, AK? Your thing is turned off, right? Your phone's on, your mic. What do you think about how you rank a player defensively and offensively and how you do that?
I get what he's saying about the defense. However, some players, like, okay, you say you want to stop at the end of the game. You got to be close at the end of the game, man. You need good players to carry you through the game. And you need good players. And Caitlin Clark not only shoots the ball well, but she has an air about her that strikes fear into the opposing team. And she passes the ball well, so she makes the other players better. And her deficiencies on defense, not my opinion, but what happened literally. She made it to the final 2 years in a row. So whatever deficiency she has on defense, they weren't that great that they prohibited her team from winning. So in her case, the deficiencies on defense that you talk about are masked by everything else she brings to the table.
So let me get this straight for history. Let's look at great offensive players and let's look at offensive and defensive players. When it's all said and done, the players who are balanced offensively and defensively win championships. I don't care about entertainment. Let me finish the point, Mark. Let me finish the point.
Okay.
I don't care about entertainment. I don't care about how many points you score. I care about wins and losses. In this social media world that's just so struck on being entertained, we are dismissing and reducing a focus on defense, which will affect the younger generations of basketball players. When I was coaching the sports that I coached, I started with defense. The offensive thing can be filled in. Okay, because in the end, and AK said it right, if you're close, then you can win games. But how are you going to get there? How are you going to get close if you can't stop? I don't understand why, this is somehow disappeared from a basketball acumen now. We would rather watch somebody score 40 points, or in the NBA, what's happening now, these teams are scoring 149 points. Sometimes they're losing. When it comes down to the playoffs, you're not going to be able to outscore everybody. I don't care how many offensive players you have. In the end, it's going to come down.
Mike, let him jump in.
It's going to come down to a stop. That's the whole point.
I got you.
That's the whole point.
Mike, let him jump in.
I got you about the defense. I got you about the defense, but a lot of championships was won by offense. Like, how many times we see it come down to the last play and you need a bucket?
The only team in NBA history who has won a championship by not being the most stellar defensive team is the Golden State Warriors. That's it.
They're pretty good on defense, though. They're pretty good.
That's it. That's it. Like there's one team, so that's one anomaly. Speak about the rest of the NBA, in particular, so we're talking basketball. Let's run down the amount of teams that won championships and if they can play defense or not. Let's run that down. Because we're looking at a statistical thing.
He's just want to ask you a question.
Can I finish my point first?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just saying that whenever we're faced with a team that can play defense, I don't care if you're the Indiana Pacers, they're going to be a tough out. But if you cannot play defense, you have no shot at winning a championship. Let's look at the Sacramento Kings of Weber and Stojakovic. They were a great team. They had a better record than the Lakers. But when it came down to it, the better defensive team won. And the NBA is usually the bigger, stronger team that wins the championship. But when we're talking about a game, we're talking about a series, we're talking about an era. It has all been funded by the ability to play defense. It's not popular. It's not sexy. It's not any of these things. But when it comes down to winning a championship, that's what we're talking about here. When we speak about greatness.
Stop for a second. We're talking about rating a player, not rating a team. So when you rate a player, yes, defense is important too as a player, but that's different than rating a team's chances for a championship in terms of offense and defense. Those are two different concepts. And one other thing I want to point out, you said all the players that were great on offense and defense won championships. They did once they got talent. Michael Jordan took 7 years and LeBron James took 7 years because they had no talent around them. They didn't win any championships. So Caitlin Clark didn't have any talent around him. She had no 5-star recruits, 2 4-star recruits that started, and all 3-star recruits. Anyone who went to UConn, LSU, South Carolina had all 5-star recruits, sometimes 12 of them that she played against. Go ahead, AK. What was your question?
No, I just wanted to know if you knew where Indiana ranked in defense last year.
No, listen. Again, I wrote 187,000 words analytically for Sportskeeda. I know how stats can really prove a point. I'm coming down to the eye test. What we are actually seeing on the floor. Okay, we're actually
hold on. Let me tell you.
The last 5 minutes of a game.
Let me tell you. They ranked 11th out of 12 teams in defense last year. So yeah, they struggled on defense. So that couldn't have been all her. That means that's Kelsey Mitchell, that's Nalissa Smith, that's Aaliyah Boston. That's a team effort when you second to last in the league in defensive rating. So listen, they got a bunch of defensive players this year because I think people want to hear about how it pertains to Caitlin Clark. And they got a bunch of veterans and players that know how to play defense this year, and they'll be able to rub off on her and hide her and mask.
Why do you have to hide her though? Why can't she learn to play defense?
I think she will this year.
We will see. We'll see. We don't know yet. We have to see.
Let me just say that I think her coach, Lisa Bluter, did a disservice to her by not teaching her and forcing her to get in a good position on defense because she has this really awkward position where she just kind of bends her back and doesn't bend her knees and she doesn't slide her feet well, which is why her on-ball defense is not good. But again, she is a great defensive rebounder. She led the Big Ten in defensive rebounding like 3 years in a row. She's a very good off-the-ball defender most of the time, not all the time. So she's not as terrible a defender as people want to make her out to be. And that's an important concept. And I think she's got a real coach who stresses defense this year. She's got a player development coach that knows defense. She's going to be a much better defender this year. And if she doesn't improve on defense, she won't be the best player of all time. And I told everybody on my channel that I don't think she's the best player in the league yet because her defense isn't up to the snuff because Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, and Nafisa Kyler are great offensive players and great defensive players. But she's the best offensive player in the league and the best passer in the history of women's basketball and better at anyone in the history of women's basketball at making someone better. And that's why she's an outstanding player.
So, Mark. Okay. So, Tanisha Paranchero is the greatest passer of all time.
She was until Caitlin Clark came in the league.
Listen, man. She had a full NBA career. The Sacramento Monarchs, And that's when
saw her
that was
play.
etched in
I
stone.
saw her play in college at ODU live because I went to VCU.
She was a beast
and we
passer.
played ODU. We played ODU all the time, and I saw her play live. I sat on the first row and saw Tisha Penachero play live in college. I mean, I'll give you that. She, up until now, I'll give you that. But Caitlin Clark is probably, if not just as good or better than Tisha Penachero at passing.
Okay,
I mean, I've known about Tisha Penachero since she was in college.
Let me counter that. So, in basketball philosophy, when you're a 3-point shooter, the ball caroms further off the basket, right? So when you speak about being the top defensive rebounder in Big Ten last year, a lot of that was because she knew where the ball was going, and she's quick and fast enough where she's going to get the ball. Okay, so that's like you can't say like she's like the best defensive rebounder.
That's an offensive rebound. I think what you're talking about is an offensive rebound. He said defensive rebound.
She's
if it was her own shot, that would be an offensive
rebounder. She led the Big Ten in rebounding. She averaged like six over 6 rebounds a game. She's a great defensive rebounder.
It's the quickness. But Mark, I just want to just like warn you a little bit. We're speaking like of all time when a player has played 1 year in the league.
I understand, but
okay,
it's a projection,
just 1 year in the league, you are disrespecting so many legacies.
You sound like ESPN.
Like so many legacies. So many legacies.
Mike, let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question.
Let me finish this one. Let me finish one point.
Okay, go ahead.
The point about Tanisha, Caitlin Clark has the ball in her hand, and the defense is focused on her. Somebody's going to leave their man open, and she has the passing ability to get them the ball. And that's not taking anything away from her. That's just saying that the defense wants her to pass the ball, which is obvious, right?
Right. Now,
okay, thank you.
Let me ask you a question. If I waited until I think this year that she's going to be the MVP. She's going to be the best player by game 20 or 40. They're going to win a championship this year, and I think she's going to win 5 championships, 5 MVPs and 6 championships by the time her career is over with. And the reason is she's going to draw free agents, and she's going to have talent around her, and she's also going to be the best player because she makes everyone else better, and she wants to get better, and she can improve on defense. But if I waited until she wins 2 MVPs and the 2 championships 2 years from now, and then make a prediction that she's going to be a great player, everyone will go say, well, that's easy to see. Everybody can see that. I'm making it right now. I'm saying it to everybody. I'm willing to state it right now. I can see it in her. She will 90% chance she'll be the best player of all time. I give Juju about a 5% chance.
I'm good. I'm good with your premature prediction. I'm making
it now
I'm the
because
same way.
It's going to be too obvious 2 or 3 years from now.
I'm the same way. I make predictions before they happen. I'm cool with that. I actually give you daps for that. Because that's courage.
AK, what do you think about Caitlin Clark's potential and future in the WNBA? What do you think she's going to end up?
Yeah, I think sky's the limit with her. She's going to be the greatest player of her era, definitely, and one of the greats of all time. As far as Juju, what do you like when you're the one who said Juju's a top 5 player?
I think she'll go down to the top 5 player in college basketball history, especially if she improves on her efficiency on offense and her turnovers and stuff like that. And she'll go down probably as one of the top 5 players in WNBA history. I just don't think she's going to be as good as Caitlin Clark.
Okay, so quickly, Michael, do you agree with that?
Mike thinks she's going to be better.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate to burst your bubble, man, but her offensive efficiency is horrible. She's a very inefficient player on offense, and that usually doesn't translate to the pro level well. They won a lot of games this year. I'll give them that. They're just better than everybody. They're deeper. They're so deep, and they're so long, and they're so fast, and you know what I mean. So I mean, they won a lot of games. But she's not a very efficient player. You said if she gets more efficient, Okay. Here's the thing, though. Her being more efficient is gonna require her to score less points and not chase that record. If she wants to get Caitlin Clark's scoring record, she's gonna have to continue to play inefficient basketball with her shooting, her ISOing, her taking a lot of bad shots, which she does now. The only way she can get better is to abandon that. Do you think that she's willing to abandon chasing the scoring record for becoming a better overall player?
That's her stat. She shoots 41% the first year, 42.9 now, with 31.9 from threes, 33.9. She had more turnovers than assists, 4.1 from three. Pardon me?
42.9 is not good.
I know, 40.1 last year and 31.9 from threes. She had more turnovers than assists. People are worried about Caitlin Clark's turnovers. The assist to turnover ratio is way more important than total number of turnovers. And this year, right now, she has slightly more assists than turnovers. Now, she's an excellent defensive player, and an excellent rebounder. I think she's a great player.
Okay, so stop there.
Go ahead.
Stop there. So when we speak about her deficiencies on offense, right? They are overridden by her greatness on defense. We cannot say, anybody, I don't care who you are, say that Juju Watkins isn't an elite defensive player. For having so many blocks as a guard is historical. It is reminiscent of Dwayne Wade. Okay? So that is a big part of why USC wins, because they make stops. And for a guard to have 8 blocks, 3 blocks, like I don't know how many blocks she's averaging a game, but her player, this is what we're not talking about. We can talk about how great a player Caitlin Clark is. Her player in front of her, okay? The guard in front of her is going to be able to control the game if Caitlin Clark cannot stop her. That's the difference between her and Juju Watkins. Juju Watkins has the ability to stop whoever is in front of her and also help at the rim. I don't know why people aren't seeing this as if it's immaterial. If you're playing basketball,
we're not saying it's immaterial. We're saying it outweighs it.
And you have a player who can do this defensively, you have a better shot at winning. It's as simple as that.
Hey, listen,
I can't understand why this isn't something people are responding to in a positive way. It's almost like they're looking at it as if it is, again, immaterial, and it does not matter.
Okay.
That team last year, hold on, let me finish with this last point. Last year, she did not have the amount of talent that she has this year. Yet and still, they got to the Elite 8, right? And they hadn't done so since Cheryl Miller.
I didn't think she played very well in that game, though. In that game, I don't think she played very well in that. I don't think she played very well against UConn. But
I don't think so either. I'm not going to harbor that against her as to say that she's not going to be great on the defense. I'm telling you guys right now, we're sitting here, there's 3 of us. When we look at Juju Watkins in the WNBA a few years from now, okay, all this stuff about her shooting percentage and efficiency will not matter. And
they will matter. It'll go down against better defenders and taller people.
That Caitlin Clark is going to win all these MVPs and all these championships. Are we dismissing all the great players in the WNBA? Nafisa Collar, Asia Wilson, and all these other players? This is a ridiculous statement for you to make, Mark. It's a ridiculous statement for you to make.
We'll see 5 years from now how ridiculous it is.
It's very disrespectful, even.
Mike, did you think that she was going to be first-team All-Pro this year? No, you didn't. So don't tell me it's ridiculous.
I don't think that she should have been first-team All-NBA.
I predicted that she would be first-team All-Pro.
I think that she should have been
10-6, and she was almost exactly that. So to say that I have a ridiculous viewpoint of Caitlin Clark,
it's a ridiculous viewpoint.
My track record shows that I don't.
So even that, let's talk about the players.
You would have said she would never make first-team All-Pro.
All the players at her position. Bumake. We could talk about Chelsea Plum. You know, we could talk about Ionescu. There's so many players who are gifted at her position. So did Ionescu win? Was she on first team WNBA last year? No.
She was like 6th in the MVP voting. She just missed.
Okay, so that's the spot that Caitlin Clark was given. She was given that spot.
But she's better than
Sabrina.
She was better than Sabrina Ionescu. That's why she was given it.
She's not just
She
better.
played on a team
She's
that
not
was
just
barely
better than
500.
Sabrina.
The team was barely 500.
All right, hold on, man. Hold on, bro.
Go ahead, Mike. Okay.
She's not just better than Sabrina Ionescu. She's way better than Sabrina Ionescu. Sabrina Ionescu isn't even in her.
We'll look forward in about 3-4 years, and then we can say that. Last year, she played on a deficient team
better than Sabrina
that barely made the playoffs.
Hold on.
And we're going to give her all of this?
You're talking about team. You're talking about team. I'm talking about individual. She's a better individual player. She's a far better individual player than Sabrina Ionescu.
She got to prove it to me. She hasn't proven it yet.
No, she don't have to prove. She's already proved that.
She hasn't proven nothing yet. Nothing. She played for 1 year.
67 people voted.
And barely made the playoffs and got smoked in the first round.
Here's the thing about what you're saying. You're talking about Juju. You said Juju going to be 3 or 4 years when Juju gets to the WNBA. Nobody's going to be talking about her inefficiency as a basketball player, sir. That's when the inefficiency is going to be highlighted, because you can hide the inefficiency playing on a powerhouse.
On the show, man.
Hold on.
Mike, so what about the defense? Let him talk. What about the defense that Juju Watkins will provide?
The defense to translate. I'll give you the defense to translate, because
that's the point. Okay,
Mike, let him talk. Mike, let him talk.
You almost speak like that she's going to suck. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, man.
Let's talk about what she will be.
Hold on.
Mike, let him talk. He's talked the least of the three of us.
I don't know if I can do the show, Mark. Like, I don't know if I can do this.
Well, you got to talk 1/3 of the time. That's all.
You both will be proven wrong in 3 years. In 3 years. I don't look at sports in a vacuum. I look at the totality and how it poses to us all-encompassing. Okay, so the fact that Juju Watkins can play stellar defense will be a proving ground for her against her competitors.
I'm not underestimating her. I said top 5 in both.
That's what it feels like to me. It feels like you want to put Juju Watkins down to prop up Caitlin Clark.
All right, let me tell you what I really
is a better player overall.
She has flaws that you're not aware of.
Hold on. You keep saying what you feel like I'm doing. Let me tell you, okay? Because you keep saying I feel like you doing this while you cutting me off. Let me say it, man. Listen, I give you that. The defense gonna translate because she moves her feet.
It's not a small point, though. It's not a small point.
Hold on, man. I don't care about blocks and steals. I look, can you move your feet? And she can move her feet. She's an excellent. So that's going to translate. My thing about the offensive efficiency not translating is when she gets to the WNBA, she's no longer going to have an athletic advantage on other girls.
Yes, she will.
No.
She will.
Not to the same
yes. Can we agree that the athleticism chasm between her and the other players will be less?
Okay, yeah, I do agree with that.
Okay. So she's a superior athlete. She's very methodical. She's very slow. She's very plodding with her style of play. She doesn't have moves that can just get you out of there.
Huh?
She don't have no move that can get you out of there. All of her moves, she don't have no move that she can just go boom, boom, and you over there, and she going to the basket underpaid. Her game. Let me tell you what her game is. And Mark, if you could look this up, man, how many free throws?
Is this being taped?
How many free throws does she take a game? I bet she takes between 8 and 10 free throws a game.
How many threes? Okay.
Free throws.
Okay, yeah. I'll look it up. Mike, what did you ask?
Is this being taped?
She plays a plodding, deliberate.
Good.
You're getting darker. You're getting darker, Mike. Is your
Yeah, because I saw the hatred that's coming out of his
Mike, can
pores,
you
man.
turn the
Nah,
light on in your room?
it's a positivity for Juju Watkins.
Nah, man.
That's all it
Can
is,
you
brother.
turn the light
Turn
on?
them
I
black.
can't see
That's
you
all it
anyway.
is. It has nothing to do with hate of anything.
Your hatred for Caitlin Clark. Look how light I am. Look how light I am. Your hatred.
And you got a bunch of bricks behind you. You got a bunch of bricks behind you too.
A bunch of bricks
Okay.
for Juju.
So
a bunch of bricks for
Mike,
Juju Watkins.
Mike, is there a light in your room that you can turn on?
No, there's not. But I have to be next with StreamYard. I have to be next to the router, or it would be very shoddy.
All right. Go ahead, AK. Whatever. What were you saying? I'll get the free throw.
Yeah. She plays a NBA style game where she gets to the line a lot and she takes a lot of contested shots and she takes a lot of shots out of the offense. So she doesn't get her where she doesn't get her shots within the realm of the offense. And that's something that hurt Caitlin Clark last year because she wasn't involved in the offense. And you saw how Caitlin Clark struggled at the beginning of the year because she wasn't a part of the offense. She had to get hers on her own. What I'm saying about Juju is not being the quickest, not having a move that can just boom, boom, get you out of there. She better develop that because she doesn't have that. She takes a lot of shots. She gets fouled a lot. She hits 80% of her free throws, and she's playing on a great team. And everybody on the team knows their role. So, yes, when she goes to the worst team, because she'll be the first pick, when she goes to the worst team in the WNBA as a rookie, and she's playing on the worst team in the WNBA, she will not all that will be exposed, and she will
average 20 points next year. When she goes to the WNBA, she will average 20 points as a rookie.
Well, unless they change the rules, she won't be there for 2 years.
Let's book that right now. You can laugh all you want, both of you.
Oh, no, I'm not laughing at 20 points. Caitlin Clark averaged 19. That's not a big deal.
How can you say that one of the best scorers that we've ever seen in the college basketball?
I just told you. What's her move?
A deficient
she's not a great
WNBA.
She's a volume shooter.
Mike, why don't you tell me what her move is? Mike, does she have a crossover?
She has a crossover. She has a handle.
Out of there. That crossover
she get over?
Out of there.
That step back is ridiculous already. She's a sophomore.
She's
a sophomore.
No, she gets lift on a jump shot.
Sophomore, man.
She gets lift on a jump shot. When you're a girl and you get lift on your jump shot, you separate.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for this, yo. I needed this comedy. I needed this. Because I'm telling you, y'all want to place a gentleman's bet right now? To see what average 20 points as a rookie?
I'm not doubting that. She'll take a lot of shots to do it, though. Caitlin Clark averaged 19. I'm not going to doubt that she can average 20. Caitlin Clark passes a lot, so that's why she didn't average 20. But Juju doesn't pass much, so she'll average 20 points a game. But she could average whatever she wants. If she's inefficient, what difference does it make? No one wants an inefficient player offensively. That costs championships.
An inefficient player that is poised to win a championship this year and went to the Elite Eight last year.
Because she's got a great team around her.
I mean, listen, the proof is in the winning.
It's a team sport. It's a team sport.
The proof is not in stats.
So when Caitlin Clark,
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in sports.
When Caitlin Clark starts winning a bunch of championships,
the overriding.
You're going to realize that you're going to change your whole story about why.
I'm not going to change my story at all.
Around is what you're going to say.
I'm not going to change my story at all because right after Caitlin Clark came in, here comes Juju. Okay, doing the same things, but all of a sudden she's looked at as a negative, and my support of her is seen as hatred.
No, Mike. What's seen as hatred is you think she's not one of the top 30 college players of all time. That's hatred.
Because of championships that other players have won.
4-star recruits. It's a team sport. It's college. She could have gone to any college she wanted to.
You think Swin Cash is better than Caitlin? You think Swin Cash is better than Caitlin? Do you think? I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man. What? Ask me some more names.
Player of all
Ask me some more names.
Okay, do you think all them girls that won championships at Tennessee, not named
Candace Parker, Shamika Holdsclaw, I would put above Caitlin Clark.
Anybody except for
people.
them.
30 people.
Anybody but those two. Do you think is better than Caitlin Clark that went to Tennessee?
Harvey Ketching's daughters were monster.
Tamika Catching. Yeah.
See, so here's the thing.
But you said 30.
Here is the exact thing. 30. We are living in a 24-hour news cycle. So a lot of our memory of past greatness is on the floor. It's gone from our psyche because of what's going on now. I have been in the sports realm for, again, 25 years, interviewed so many players, covered so many games, Super Bowls, World Series, all this type of stuff. Y'all talking to the wrong dude right here. I do not look at sports in a social media 24-hour news cycle vacuum.
I'm going to see all types of players.
I'm going to see Cheryl Swoops. Like I'm going to see Maya Moore. I'm going to see Diana Taurasi. I'm even going to see Paige Beckers.
Mike, let me just say something. I'm going to show you how dishonest you're being. If I had this conversation,
Mark, see, that's I'm speaking honestly.
Let me just finish
from a history standpoint.
That's
nothing dishonest.
Okay,
if you're going to counter the point, don't come off saying I'm just being dishonest.
Well, you're hating on Caitlin Clark in a dishonest way.
Okay, y'all can point at his dad all you want.
But
y'all can say that all you want.
If I had a conversation with you a year ago, Mike, and I asked you, will Caitlin Clark lead the league in assists and also average 19 points and also average, was it 5.6 rebounds and also 8.4 assists and lead the league in assists and make first team All-Pro? You tell me I was crazy. You said there's no way she's going to do that. She's not one of the top 30 players of all time. And guess what? She did.
But
you
also,
know that you would have said
also,
to me.
also being,
said there's no way she makes first
also being the most turnover-prone player in basketball history. Not even the WNBA, also the NBA. That's how many turnovers she had last year. So I'm trying to be objective about the woman. Okay,
Mark,
if she cleans up the turnovers, if she cleans up the turnovers and becomes more efficient in that realm,
hold on, you gotta let me get in there, man. Golly,
go ahead, AK. Go ahead, AK.
So he said turnovers, right? Can you find out her usage rate?
I bet she won.
Here we go with the statistics. You're talking to the wrong dude about analytics. I go back to Harvey Pollack. Do you all know who that is?
No,
but you know who Harvey Pollack is?
I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care? So I know everything about this,
but I'm talking about. Hold on.
I know everything about advanced stats.
I don't want to talk about all that. I want to talk about one stat.
You said usage rate.
Yeah. What's her usage? What was Caitlin Clark's usage rate? I bet she had probably the highest usage rate.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
Of course she's gonna have more turnovers.
Of course she. Every player with a high usage rate does not lead the league in turnovers. No, they do not.
Mike,
they do not.
I bet you they do.
Mike,
I bet you they do.
Rebecca Lobo said she went back and looked at film of all rookies, and she said Caitlin Clark was double teamed and triple teamed more than any rookie in WNBA history. And Lisa Leslie and also Nancy Lieberman said the same thing. So of course she's going to have more turnovers because they double teamed and triple teamed her because they were trying to prove a point. Now, Mike, here's what here is the offensive efficiency. It's called points generated. So you get credit for one. You get credit for 1 point for an assist.
Mark, I know about advanced stats. You'll need to explain.
Okay, let me finish.
You don't need to explain the advanced stats to me. Brother.
I know, but I added another addition to it to be fair. Okay, just let me finish. So, anyways, this was last year, 38.3. That was the highest in WNBA history that she points generated. And then I subtracted her turnovers. I subtracted 1 point for every turnover because there's 80 points in a game and 80 possessions in a game. That's 1 point for a turnover. I did that, and she still had the best efficiency in the history of the WNBA as a rookie. So that's why we think she's going to be the best player of all time. And when you make teammates better, you make 4 teammates better. When you're a deficiency on defense, that's only 1 deficiency. Making someone better, a team better, is 4. 4 times 1. That's a lot better. That's why she's so good.
Let me ask you a simple question. if Caitlin Clark does not win any WNBA championships, why does this all matter?
If she doesn't,
because the way y'all speak, because the way y'all speak is like that she's this goddess who's going to win the next 10 WNBA
She's a white
champions.
goddess. She's a white angel, man. She's a white angel, and I worship her, man.
She will win. She'll win plenty of championships, Mike. Listen, I'm going to have this show for the next 10 years, and you're going to come on after every WNBA season, and we're going to replay.
I bet y'all both voted for Josh Allen for MVP. Didn't you?
Wait, Mike. Okay, Mike, I'm going to tie you down. Then let's tie Mike. AK, give me a minute. I'm going to tie you down. How many?
Lord mercy,
Mike. Let's pretend she has a 15-year career. Okay, that's fair. How many championships do you think she'll win, and how many MVPs do you think she'll win?
I think she'll get a couple MVPs. I think she'll win a couple championships. I think she will.
Okay, 2 and 2. All right, AK.
I think the same thing about Juju, though.
Okay, but that doesn't make Juju better. That just 2 and 2. You say 2 and 2 for Juju and 2 and 2 for Caitlin, or you think Juju's?
I don't see why they're again. Juju is following Caitlin Clark, so I don't see why their careers won't kind of be similar at this stage in the game. This is an early stage in the game that I'm saying this because of what has transpired.
Is Juju going to have more NBA and more MVPs and more WNBA championships than Caitlin Clark when their careers are done?
I can't say
well,
that. I don't know that. That would be immature. That would be kind of, it would discredit me to say and speculate.
I'm trying to tie you down, Mike.
I'm not that type of sports writer, man. I go on the facts of what I see with my own eyes.
Okay, well here's the thing about Caitlin, right? Caitlin, since you made a good point. She came before Juju, so we already know Caitlin has already finished. It's kind of like what's that Iron Man thing? That show where they go on the obstacle course, that long obstacle course over the water, and then whatever that show's called. I forgot what it's called. Whatever. It's like a real popular show that used to come on where they used to go do an obstacle course. But anyway, here's the thing. Compared to a American Idol, Caitlin's already come out and sang her song. So Juju has the advantage because she knows what she has to do to beat. She knows what score she has to be. It would be like any team, any sport where there's a judge, where it's judged by judges. Caitlin's already come out, done her routine, and she's gotten her score. 2 championships, game losses, 2 player of the year, led the league in assists and scoring twice.
Three times.
Well, she was second one year. She was second one year. She was second one year. But it's scoring. But here's the thing. Never mind. Here's the thing. All her accolades, right? So now Juju already knows where she has to go. Caitlin didn't know where she had to go. Caitlin just was doing it. Caitlin set the bar. So now Juju knows where she has to jump over. So it should be easier for Juju because she knows what she has to jump over. So this year, as a sophomore year, she knows that, okay, Caitlin, her sophomore year, made it to the Elite Eight. Made it to the Sweet 16. Juju, I think this year she has to at least make it to the championship game. I think she has to at least make it to the championship game.
4 years left. She got 3 years, not 2. Caitlin Clark played in 2 championships
this year in terms of her stature as a player.
You can't. No. You can't put more on her. You can't put more on her plate just because she's following Caitlin Clark. She has her own career.
What if Aaliyah Boston transferred to Iowa? Okay, what if Aaliyah Boston transferred to Iowa? Caitlin's sophomore year. What if Lauren Betts transferred to Iowa, Caitlin sophomore year?
They almost did, by the way.
There's an obvious answer to that.
Well, Kiki Arieffin transferred to USC. Kiki Arieffin transferred to USC.
Right.
So that whole thing about
last year, she went to the Elite Eight without her.
Preseason
without her.
You add Kiki Arieffin. And
for 1 year.
And hold on. And the expectations rise. The expectations rise. You added Kiki Arieffin. Now it's no longer, I'm battling against a little Iowa, a bunch of little white girls, a bunch of slow-footed white girls from the Midwest. No, I got all these California-bred ballers, and the only white girl on USC team, she like a spot-up shooter. She got a bunch of 6'2", 6'3" sisters that can run like gazelles. She should at least get to the championship game. She loses to LSU or South Carolina or Connecticut in the championship game because they just off and they're just better that day.
Notre Dame, Tennessee, Maryland. There are a lot of great teams. There are a lot of great teams in college basketball.
And there weren't great teams last year.
I actually think that Notre Dame is going to win it all. That's my
okay. So you think Notre Dame is going to win it all? Okay, and that's fine. So you think that Juju can't outshine the player she won the Player of the Year over? Because
I think that Hannah Hidalgo, with the rest of her teammates and their coach, right now as a more.
What do you mean their coach? Their coach has never won anything. Their coach has never. You act like their coach got 10 championships. That woman hasn't won anything yet.
About basketball, or are we going to say just eliminate the coach and go out there and play, and you're going to win a championship?
No, what I'm saying is you're acting like they got a Gino Auriemma.
No, I'm saying
Notre Dame's coach has never won a championship. So don't bring it up.
Yes, they have. Pat Summitt and Gino Auriemma and Markey. We could talk about Kirk Vandiver. They have won championships. Okay,
I do think she's
they have won championships. What are y'all talking about?
No, I'm not saying.
You want to have an intelligent basketball conversation?
Let's have they're going to beat USC because they have her. No, they're going to beat USC because of Hannah Hidalgo and Cintron and Miles. They're not going to beat USC because of the coach. Here's the thing.
Who makes the game plan?
USC.
Who makes
USC's
the game
next
plan?
game. I want you to watch USC's next game. I want you to watch USC's next game. Watch the players that the supporting cast. The supporting cast on USC, they're all tall, they're all 5 stars, they all run like the wind, they all very aggressive, they're all great defenders. She has a great supporting cast. I don't want to hear about somebody else got a better supporting cast this year.
Who has ever listen? If somebody has said that, they don't deserve to speak. I never said that.
But you're already making excuses. You said Notre Dame. No, go with Juju. Don't tell me. Don't tell me somebody other than Juju is going to win the championship this year. Tell me you have to ride with Juju. You got to ride it out with Juju. You can't tell me somebody else going to win the championship this year.
No, man. That's social media BS that you're talking right now.
Mike,
social media BS. I'm talking about the sport of
basketball. Doesn't USC have a very good team?
I'm not going to discredit USC because Caitlin Clark went to 2 championships as a sophomore, as a junior and senior. What are y'all talking about right now? This is a girl who's a sophomore who is doing the same things that Caitlin Clark has done in the early parts of her career. Okay? So this girl has this year and 2 more years to show y'all what she really is as a basketball player. Like, what are we talking about? How are we speaking right now in this second as if this second is the focus of the entire basketball historical world?
Mike, she will be playing with way more talent the next 3 years than Caitlin Clark did.
So what? So what?
So what? She gets to win a championship, and you're going to say, "Look how good Juju is." No, it's because she has so much talent.
Hey, Mark, I gotta go. My kids coming back. My kids are here. I gotta go. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Good. Hey, Mike. Listen, man, get some therapy, man. Your Caitlin derangement syndrome is out of control, man.
We'll talk in 2 years, brother. We'll talk in 2 years.
Or some medication.
You're coming back. You're coming back after every
2 years. Okay, I do this. This is what I do.
His Caitlin derangement syndrome is out of control. I'm out, man. See you. I'll talk to you later. All right, peace out, man.
Don't forget to promote your channel.
Ock Nation TV, man. Type it into the search bar. Ock Nation TV. Peace out.
All right.
That's the guy. That's the guys you got to counter me.
I got lots of
That's
guys.
the guy.
No, there's only one. No, one guy didn't show
That's
up.
the guy.
We got lots of guys to counter you.
Bring them all. I will face a billion men when it comes to this, Mark.
Every Thursday we can do this.
Okay,
Mark.
a billion men. So this is what I'm hearing right now, and I gotta say this. I'm hearing that Juju Watkins' career basically shut off right now. It doesn't even matter what she does in the future. Okay, that's exactly what I'm hearing. I'm hearing absolutes. I'm hearing absolutes, especially about a girl, a woman who is poised to challenge Caitlin Clark's records. She has proven that she's challenging them.
Shooting a lot.
She's proving. So what you're saying is, even as a sophomore, a 19-year-old woman, she has no shot at improvement. You're saying that Caitlin Clark is going to be a better player than her, and it's already unforeseen. It's already foreseen. Like, you have that etched in stone for history. Where does that come from?
It's more fun.
Where is that? But Mark, if what you're hearing from me is, I'm saying that Caitlin Clark is going to be very successful in the WNBA. I'm saying that, like, profoundly successful. I'm not taking anything away from her in this debate culture. I gotta understand. I interviewed Skip Bayless for 3 hours back in 2008. I'm not of this debate culture.
Right. She was very successful at college, and you still didn't give her any credit. You said there's 30 players better in the history of the women's college football. There is.
Mark, let's name them then. Let's name them. You want to name them?
I'm not naming any. I think she's the best player since Cheryl Miller.
How can you say that? How can you skip Maya Moore? How can you skip Maya Moore? How can you skip Diana Taurasi? How can you expect even a woman that you said, Rebecca Lobo? Like, this is ridiculous, Mark. This is ridiculous. She was not a better college player than any of the players that I can specifically name.
That's your opinion.
So you're saying she's a better player now? She's a better player than Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart won 4 championships.
Brianna Stewart played with 12 players that made it in the WNBA.
Who was the focus of the team? Who was the focus of the team? Who did you have to stop to win a championship? Brianna Stewart. She did it in Seattle. Brianna Stewart won championship in Seattle, and she won one with the New York Liberty.
Mike,
that is a ridiculous statement, Mark, and you can't even see it.
Slow down. How many championships with Caitlin Clark have won if she went to South
Carolina? I don't care about what ifs.
Well, you can't say that.
What did we see?
You can't say that, Mike. That's
what
a
you mean
valid
you can't
argument.
say that? So the reality isn't reality.
You didn't like the answer. That's why you don't care.
Reality isn't reality, Mark. So the reality is she did not win a championship, right? That's the reality, right?
Correct. And she went to the finals.
Okay, so that's where we should shut that count. I'm not of this debate thing, Mark. I'll keep trying to tell you this. Like, I before this debate culture, this first take, whatever this FS1 show is. Okay, you spoke sports reporters. There was no debate on sports reporters. They said their point. They stuck with it, gave their parting shot, went home and had a beer. Okay, this thing should not be about versus. Both women will have great careers. I am not going to overvalue someone based on what they did in college in 1 year in the WNBA with no championships to show. Anything that you say to counter that is an excuse. That's why. Anything that you say to that is an excuse. Now, will the woman rise to the moment? I believe that she will. But I'm not going to prematurely heap all this great for all time stuff on her when it has not happened yet. Right? We're not even seeing where it will show. Okay, Indiana barely made the playoffs. They got smoked in the first round. Meanwhile, you had Navisha Collier, you had Brianna Stewart, you had Jonquel Jones, you had Abu McKay, you had all of these players who did something last year.
What's this, Mr. Pope? Hang on.
Alyssa Thompson has more triple doubles than anybody in the history of the league.
Okay. All right. Here we go. The Pope's here. Mike, how you doing, DePope?
What's up, Mark?
Yo,
This is Mike
what's up, brother?
Tillery.
You better bring it, man. The Pope, you better bring it. You better bring it.
I better bring it. Listen,
Good. I'm glad because I haven't seen anybody bring it yet.
Let me pull up a check. Can I pull up a check?
Why are you an hour late again? I thought we clarified it was Eastern time.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm a busy guy, Mark. Apologies. Listen, hold on. What do we got going on here? How you doing,
Okay.
Michael?
Here,
Taylor?
Mike thinks that Caitlin Clark was not one of the top 30 college players of all time.
Okay.
That's funny. But can you name the players, though?
Where you find this guy?
Can you name the players?
I can't name any. But
Where you find him?
Cheryl Mill and Caitlin Clark. That's it. Those are the two best players of all time. I
Do
saw them
you
play.
believe that? Do you believe that?
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Listen. You see what's
Do you
going on
believe
here.
that? Do you believe that?
For you to have
Do you believe that?
another set of two, and you mean to tell me you can't see that this woman, Caitlin Clark, is the best thing we ever seen play basketball as a woman? You mean to tell me you don't see that?
No, he doesn't.
You really for real? Is it
She's
because
not
of the
in the
color
top
of her
30
skin?
all
Hold
time.
on. Time out. Because I gotta know who I'm dealing with. Wait. I got a question.
Mercy,
Because
man.
again, when I hear
I
people
thought
say
you
this,
were, yo, I thought you were
time
gonna
out.
come bring it.
I
I
got
thought you
questions
were
for
come
you.
bring it.
Go ahead.
I got questions. When I hear
All
people
right.
say this crazy shit that you just, excuse my friends. When I hear people say these things, you either because she's not black, is that why? Because she was black, I'm sure you would have. I'm sure you would say
Do your
something different.
proper research before you even go there with me. Okay, I will not be painted into a box. What I told Mark was, how could we jump over Taurasi, Holtzclaw, Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper?
Easy. I'll show you the
It's
stats.
easy because we've
I don't
seen
care
them play.
about stats.
I'm
Stats
gonna give you a quick
things.
Quick answer. Listen, if you're talking about what people did longevity wise, I come from the 80s. I'm sure you probably around that frame time too, right? Mark, he old school with it too. When we watched Michael Jeffrey Jordan as a rookie, his as his second year in the league, third year, he didn't have to win championships for us to know he's the best one out there on the floor, period.
Look, listen, her own
Wait,
mentor.
time out. Is that true or not true? Is that true or false? Did it take
I'm not
you
going to compare. I'm not even
for
going
Michael
to think
Jordan
about
have to
putting
win
Caitlin
rings
Clark in a
before you
Michael
knew he
Jordan
was the best
strategy?
basketball player? Wait, time out. We can't talk it two times.
He
I just
thinks
want to know that part.
LeBron is
Did you
better.
know Michael Jordan was the best basketball player on the planet before he won one ring?
No.
I did.
You see how,
I knew
No.
it.
See how long,
Hell
hold on.
no.
I got you,
Listen,
Mark.
listen,
Hold on, I'm here.
listen,
baby.
okay,
See
you
how
asked me a
long it took him to
question.
answer that?
You answered me a question. You asked me a question. Let me answer it for you. Let me answer it for you. Because I come from, I wrote a piece for Slam called the 5 Evolutions. Okay, it was called, the something about the slashers in the league that were up and coming. So the 5 evolutions were Elgin Baylor, Connie Hawkins, Julius Erving, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Okay, so each player made the next era better. We can debate whether or not Kobe had a better career than Michael Jordan, but it's really about the ones that come before. I'm not going to sit here and say that Kobe Bryant was the best. Michael Jordan was the best player of all time, given that Wilt Chamberlain stopped scoring after 7 seasons and still averaged the same amount of points and still averaged crazy rebounds all time, had quintuple doubles and such. I'm not speaking and will never speak in a mainstream mode. Okay, the mainstream has a different media and statistical value system of players and athletes. Okay,
Mike,
I'm going by strictly hoops.
How old were you
Strictly hoops.
How old were you in 1984?
Me?
No. How was Mike? How old were you in 1984?
18.
18. Okay.
16. I was 16.
So his question was, could you tell that Michael Jordan was a great player even before he won a championship? Could you tell?
Oh, yeah, I can say that. Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're saying about Caitlin
best player
Clark.
on the
She's a great
planet.
but we can
Like,
see she's a
that's
great player.
hyperbole.
Hold on.
It's
Time out.
hyperbole.
Because wait. The two best players in the league at the time when Mike entered the league was Scary Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Two best players in the league.
When did they enter the league?
Mike gave the Boston Celtics 63, and that man called him Jesus and sneakers.
You're disputing Julius Irving.
Hold on. I'm not listening. Again, too, no doubt, Wilt, all of them was nicety. They was great in their own right. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, he was different. He had a different will, different mentality. He was killer. It was always on the hunt to kill. He was different than everybody we've seen, period. I don't care how you want to slice it. I don't care how you try to cut it. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was different than anybody we've ever seen, period.
So was Wilt Chamberlain. He scored 100 points a game. So that's where you're losing me right now. If you're not going to respect what Wilt Chamberlain did for the sport of basketball, why am I on this show? Why are we having this conversation?
Wilt Chamberlain.
I'm not saying that Michael Jordan wasn't great.
Wilt Chamberlain was a great
You're not listening to me. You're not listening.
Different.
You're not listening to me. You're really not listening to me.
No, because you're trying to.
I understand
a lot of people,
the greatness of Michael Jordan.
They don't know nothing about Wilt Chamberlain. So you got to at least come up with the times. They don't know nothing about Wilt Chamberlain.
No, you do not.
You do.
I'm not of ESPN. Okay, when ESPN speaks in statistics, they say, well, James Harden is the best in the modern era, or say stuff like, what's the dude from the rebounder from UCLA? They said that he had the most double-doubles in the modern era in terms of his streak.
I thought
Yet and still, Wilt had like a 500 game advantage over him. So for me to be a basketball and sports historian, I have to look at it all.
But you said championships are really important. Wilt Chamberlain had two.
I have to look at it. He played against a team in Boston that won 10 straight championships. Who beat them? Wilt beat them.
8 straight, not 10.
8 straight.
Hey,
okay,
so correct on all those accounts. Again, we're not gonna sit here again. Hold on. Because what we doing is, and you bringing in Wilt Chamberlain, who a lot of his points. Hold on, time out. I'll let you lay down. I'll let you talk. You brought up Wilt Chamberlain, who a lot of his points, they came from back to basket at the rim, all at the rim.
No, they did not. No, they did not.
Time out.
That's a lie. That's a lie, though. That's a lie. That's a lie. Say something else, and I'll agree with you.
He had a suit, but he not bringing the ball up the court, in and out, tween. He not doing none of that, taking to the hole, jump. He not doing that.
Oh
I watched Wilt enough to know he's not doing that. But he had a smooth. He was very athletic. But he not doing
athletic ever.
He not doing what we seen Michael Jeffrey Jordan do.
I don't care about what we see. I care about what he did.
He wasn't doing that, bro. Period. He didn't have the skill set. Hold on, wait. He didn't have the skill set that Mike had at all. Come close. Nothing close. Didn't have the killer will mentality, the championship mentality like Mike had and Kobe had. So when you look at Caitlin Clark, now I want to bring this back to Caitlin because we went too far on and talking about some old school heads. All I wanted you to do is acknowledge that you knew Michael Jordan was a very great player before he won one ring. He was the best in the league. He was the face of the NBA. He took over the two faces of the NBA was Larry Scary, Magic Johnson.
I'm not going to speak in mainstream value.
When Mike entered the league, he took over being the face of the NBA. They didn't say, well, what about Wilton? What about Dr. J? And
how long did it take him to win a championship?
This is Caitlin Clark's time.
How long did it take Mike to win a championship?
7 years.
Stop trying to deny Caitlin Clark's time. This is her time. She's the best of the best. Period.
Y'all can say that, but basketball don't lie.
Exactly.
Ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
Titles.
Okay, so I'm telling y'all what, just like I told the last brother that was on here, when we look in the future, we will also see Juju Watkins
in the playoffs. I got a couple high school players I'll be coaching, and they in the playoffs for their high school, so I gotta go check them out. This is semifinals to get to the national. But just man, y'all can find me at the Poby Frank. Mark, apologies again, man. I'm sorry, bro.
Poby was a friend of mine. I knew hoops.
Pope, let me
Poby was a good friend of mine. Pope, I was supposed to interview him the day before he died. Okay. So listen, there ain't no lack of basketball knowledge here. There ain't no lack of basketball connection. I brought up Wilt because he's hoops.
There's got to be a lack somewhere. There's a disconnect somewhere.
Push him to the side.
It's a disconnect.
I don't care about this 24-hour social media jargon.
Again, you talking about Juju Watkins. Hold on. You talking about Juju Watkins. I got to say this because I heard you say something about Juju and talking about she got a chance to catch Caitlin's records. And you put S at the end of it. She has no chance in hell in catching her assist records. No chance in hell. So no chance in hell. Okay? So don't sit here and spew that BS. Okay? She had no chance in hell.
Yo, go ahead. Y'all can make this godless. Y'all turn over machine woman all y'all want.
I speak facts.
Okay?
You came up here saying BS. You said that she was on the verge.
I'm speaking about the entire game, not just one player. You're taking with the shirt on. She got a shirt. I don't have no Wilt shirt on. I ain't got no Jordan shirt on. You got a Caitlin Clark shirt on and thinking you're really going to be credible talking about this.
And
proud of it. And proud of it.
And listen,
Lord have mercy.
I got a bunch of them. I sell them too. If you want one, I got you. Okay, $40, and it come with a song for Caitlin Clark on top of it. See, it come with a song on top of it.
If it's for the kids, if it benefits kids, I'll buy one.
Mike, let me ask you a question. Do you see any kind of it factor in Caitlin Clark like Michael Jordan had? Do you see any kind of it factor?
Of course. I have never said that.
Okay,
the thing is, I'm not going to overvalue her already. No.
Listen. I'm going to go back to Michael Jordan.
And because I'm undervaluing her or placing her on an equal level to anybody who's ever played, that's called hating her?
No, you're undervaluing her.
That's called hating her?
30 college players of all time. That's preposterous. I don't know anybody that thinks
Mark,
that.
you can't. Mark,
said that.
I bet you right now, you can't even name 20. You can't even name 20 legends. You can't even name them.
20?
Name them for me. Like, prove this point for me.
Rebecca Lobo, Tamika Catchings, Candace Parker, Diana Taurasi, Elaine Deladonna, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Charles, Sue Bird. You want me to go on? I mean,
keep going. Keep going. That's only 9. That's 9, and that's 9 who had a better college career than Caitlin Clark.
None of them had a better college career.
You named 9 people, man. Mark, listen to me. If you want me to come on your show, please stop sitting at the kiddie table and get to the grown folks table where we can talk in an all-encompassing way instead of speaking in a Caitlin Clark vacuum. Of course, everything is going to look nice and shiny to her right now because she's getting all of this.
How many names do you want me to give you to show you that I know what I'm talking about?
Mark, until you speak of the game in a general sense, without the mainstream BS that you're speaking right now, and these last 2 idiots who you had on your show are also speaking as social media idiotic vacuum, until you speak about the history of the game in a way that is very understandable.
You notice both those guys were not white, so this is not a racial thing.
I don't care about that. That don't mean nothing. Mark. You know the oldest trick in the book? When it comes to discrediting a black guy, Mark. Again, man, that counselor's coming out of you sometimes. You got to realize that I'm up on that. So bringing two black guys on the show to discredit another black guy.
No, they were already scheduled. They were already scheduled, Mike.
In the book.
They were already scheduled.
It's the oldest trick. But Mark, you just said yourself, you noticed that those two others are black. So of course I'm going to come back with what I just said. Because if you want to get into the courtroom, Mark, we can go into the courtroom. Okay? If you're going to speak in proper analysis when it comes to the sport of basketball, men, women, history, or whatever, I am with you, man. I am so with you. If you want to speak about the successes of Caitlin Clark and what she has done for the sport of basketball, I am with you. Okay, but when it comes to the hyperbole, of everything, that's where you lose me, brother. You losing me there.
Let me go back to Michael Jordan for a second. Just let me finish my thought. When I was watching Michael Jordan, I saw him play in his third and fourth year when he was starting to take over a league, and he got MVP his fourth year. And I said, Michael Jordan, I'm older than you, so I was not 18 at that time. I was born in 59, so 84. So I was 25. I'd seen a little basketball. I'd been watching since I was 10. I said, this is the greatest player I've ever seen in my life. He's going to be the greatest player of all time. He has the it factor. I can see that. I'm in law school, and these guys were smart guys. They said, no, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird are the two best players, and they're better than Michael Jordan because they have rings. I said they have rings because they have way better talent on them. Michael Jordan's going to get the rings as soon as he has the talent. What happened to Michael Michael Jordan, he got all these rings because he had the talent. The same thing's going to happen to Caitlin Clark. The same thing's going to happen to Caitlin Clark.
Because he plays against his peers. Caitlin Clark's talent is not that much more anything than Hannah Hidalgo, than Paige Beckers, than Juju Watkins, than Fowali. Like the younger girl Watkins at South Carolina, who's a freshman, who's a monster. Michael Jordan's talent was coming off of Ralph Sampson winning 3 National Players of the Year. So Ralph Sampson was that guy. Michael Jordan with Virginia, although he did not go to a Final Four or win a championship, he won 3 National Players of the Year. That's how great Ralph Sampson was. Then here comes Michael Jordan and Len Bias, okay? Len Bias was just an incredible player comparable to Michael Jordan. So if Len Bias lived,
he never even won Player of the Year, and he went 3rd in the draft, right?
He didn't win Player of the Year because of Ralph Sampson. Okay, my gosh, Ralph Sampson was an incredible player. Mark, please look back at how great Ralph Sampson was. See, that's the thing. What you're saying, you got this tunnel vision right now. You got this tunnel vision. You're only seeing one player, like it's focused on her. It's an
anyone who doesn't think Caitlin Clark is one of the top 30 players in college basketball history has tunnel vision.
Because Mark, I have not seen enough of her to make a true distinction of where she's going to be in terms of her skill, talent, leadership, intangibles, defense, and everything else. I am saying to you is those players proved it. And that becomes laughable when you tell the truth now.
Michael Jordan hadn't proved it, and I said it, and I was right. What do you want from me?
Right.
I can see it.
You're discounting. You're discounting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're discounting Wilt Chamberlain. You're discounting Elgin Baylor. You're discounting those players. You cannot just say
2 championships.
Because you see, listen, Mark, we live in 100-year space in millennias, right? Millennias. Just because you say one player is the best all time because that's what you saw, the people before you are going to say Wilt Chamberlain. They're going to say Elgin Baylor. Some of them are going to say Tony Hawkins.
What is that?
The thing is, Mark, this is where we are in this world now. We think that everything's the GOAT. GOAT. Oh, this is the best of all time. This is the best thing. This is the best dance I've ever been to. That's the best song I've ever heard. Oh, this food is the greatest food that I've ever tasted. Please, man, that is so entrenched in ego. Just because you're seeing it is discount the 50 or 100 years
is going to be the GOAT? Do you think Juju's going to be the GOAT?
and Caitlin Clark have an opportunity, but they got to get there first. Mark,
but that's
when you say Juju and Caitlin Clark, I'm not going to disparage either or. That's not what I do. That's some kiddie school bull crap. Okay, during recess.
It's okay to make projections.
I'm trying to speak of, it's not like, again, Mark, I interviewed Skip Bayless and all these dudes who
Bayless is an idiot.
Debate culture. They began this debate culture.
Skip Bayless said Larry Bird was going to be too slow and not play well in the NBA. Skip Bayless is an idiot. He underrated LeBron James for 20 years. Skip Bayless is an idiot. I don't respect anything he says. So I don't care if you interviewed Skip Bayless or not. Him and Stephen A. Smith are just a disaster.
The point, see, you're speaking to respond instead of speaking with the point in mind. Did I say that Skip Bayless was this credible dude when it came to sports? All I said was I interviewed him and he gave me the blueprint to what is transpiring right now, a debate culture, which has eroded sports. It has killed sports to where you bring on these last two guys who are coming from this social media realm and are just laughing at the potential of Juju Watkins when I have laughed at the potential of Caitlin Clark. I have not done that.
They did
not done that.
Potential of Juju Watkins. All they said was they don't think she's going to be as great as Caitlin Clark. And he pointed out her inefficiency on offense, which is what I pointed out to you that you didn't want to hear. And you just
because all I have to do to counter that is say Caitlin Clark's defense. But that's not why I'm here. Okay, I am not here to disparage any player.
I'm not disparaging Juju Watkins. I'm just bringing you back to reality on her.
You cannot say that she's inefficient on offense without speaking about her defensive prowess. And it's on the same round, you can't speak about how great Caitlin Clark is offensively without speaking about her deficiencies on defense.
I'm willing to talk about it.
If you want to be credible in this game, why not do that?
Mike, I just told you on the phone that I talk with the players and team. There's another woman on this team. Monday night, Adrienne Ross. She thinks Caitlin Clark is already the best player in the league. I don't agree with her. Some of these people in this thread right here, probably most of them think Caitlin Clark is already the best player in the league. I don't agree with them because I don't think her defense is up to snuff and she had too many turnovers. So I think I'm objective because I think that's reasonable. She was fourth in the MVP. I think she's the fourth best player in the league right now. I think she'll be the best player in the league by the end of the year.
She's the fourth best player in the WNBA right now?
What?
She's the fourth best player in the WNBA right now. Are you serious?
That's what she came fourth in the MVP voting. How is that delusional?
So what? Mark,
so what?
Listen,
that's important.
Me, man.
How can you say that's not important?
Please, man. Please, Mark. Please. Like, I'm trying to help you here. Like, I'm
You're trying to help me.
You. Okay? So I can name 10 players who are better than her. I can name 10 players that are better than her.
Okay, why did they come fourth in the MVP voting? Why did Caitlin Clark come in fourth? So,
excuse me?
If there's 10 players better than him, why do you think she's going to win 2 MVPs? The 11th best player in the league right now is not going to win two MVPs, Mike. The 11th best player in the MVP right now is not going to win 2 MVPs.
Popularity is relative. Okay,
she's not popular with the voters.
She's not better than Asia Wilson. She's not better than Breanna Stewart. Okay, she's not better than Nafisa Collier. She's not better than Nafisa Collier.
That's it. Stop. That's it.
She's not better than Alyssa Thompson. She's not better.
Yes, she is.
Listen, man. Look.
67 people voted, Mike, and they disagreed with you. AP voters.
Mark. People voted Josh Allen MVP over Lamar Jackson when there was an 825 discrepancy in statistics. Okay, so don't come to me with popular votes
because he had less talent to work with.
Because I'm telling you what, right now, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give you some game from the inside of sports journalism. A lot of these dudes, these national dudes, follow the local feeds of these players. They don't even watch the damn games.
I do.
Okay, so what I know.
I've been watching them longer than you.
Being in the inside, I'm speaking about vote. You brought up voters, right? That was your big point.
Well, these voters aren't just like 10, 12-year-old girls who don't watch any sports. These are voters
Mark,
that were.
did you hear what I just said? A lot of them don't even watch the games.
How do you know that? You hang around with these 67 people?
Okay, Mark, okay. I'm about to go now because what you're doing is you're discrediting my experience and knowledge of something that I have done.
I'm saying you couldn't possibly know whether they watch
I'm not some imbecile.
You don't hang around them 24/7.
Okay, let me give you a point since you want to hear a point. Okay, there was a writer who, when Derrick Rose won the MVP, who I know very well, who told me he did not vote for LeBron James in that vote.
Which year? When?
The year was at 2011, 2010, 2011, whenever Derrick Rose won the MVP. Okay, so man, listen, man, listen, man, I have interviewed probably over 100 journalists. That's how I rose in this game. So the people who are closest,
we don't watch. That's what they said to you.
The people who are closest to the game, who are there covering the game, I have spoken to. You can laugh at that. You can laugh at that and think that means nothing.
Did they say to you? Did these voters say to you? We don't watch.
You can think that means nothing if you want, but the proof is I'm way more closer to the game than you ever will be. Okay,
answer my question, Mike.
Mike,
answer my question.
We can talk idiotic social media.
No, answer my question. Did they say to you they don't watch? Or we can
talk about a true history of the game. So for anybody, I don't care if you're predicting or what have you, to say that Caitlin Clark is going to be the best player of all time is delusional as hell.
Okay, answer my question. Can you answer my question?
For you to say that means that all of the other women that are currently great and all of the other women that will come
I don't care. She is the it factor. I know she's better. Michael Jordan. I didn't discredit the rest of the league when I said Michael Jordan was going to be the greatest player of all time, and he was.
It factor. Michael Jordan isn't the greatest player of all time.
Okay. Well,
he isn't.
Answer my question.
He's the greatest player in his era.
Michael.
He's the greatest player in his era. Just like Julius was. Just like Kareem was, just like Wilt was, just like Elgin was, all of that. We cannot look at the sport if we only see through our eyes. We have to also use our mind to understand the truth about the entire all-encompassing sport. We cannot say like some little brat, say just because we're seeing it, and that's what's going on.
What was my question? You said when you interviewed any of these guys, did any of these guys that have a vote say to you, we don't watch games? Did any of them say to you?
Mark,
no!
What am I going to say to you? What's going to be my reply to you right now? Counselor.
I don't know, Mike. I asked you 8 times and you didn't want to answer.
That's what it's going to be, counselor. Okay? I'm speaking about what I see and what I know. Okay? Were you there? Were you there?
You don't like the answer. That's why you're not answering the question.
Were you there? Mark, I only speak about what I know, man. If it's something that I don't know, I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to be passionate and confident about it.
Why? Did any of these people who have a vote in AP voters and vote in the league say to you, listen, I have a vote, but I don't watch? Did any of them say that to you? I'll take that as a no. So why are you saying none of them watch? That's silly.
Did I say none of them watch? I said some of them didn't watch. That's what I said. Some of them.
You said these guys don't
watch.
Not
all of them. Mark, you see, Mark, I understand you have to discredit to prove a point. It's part of your profession.
Look, there could be
in terms of sports, you can't do that here, brother. I know too much about the game. About sports in general, about politics,
there's 67
about the politics and everything else, Mark. Okay? I don't live in a vacuum, this vacuum of this computer screen right here, where you just fire off any type of questions you want just to discredit me and then laugh as you are now.
Because you don't want to answer
because you know what? On other shows, other national shows, They don't laugh. They listen.
Mike, because you're saying ridiculous things. That's why.
What is the ridiculous thing that I said?
That these guys don't.
What is the
games.
one ridiculous thing that I said?
No, there's no bait. That Caitlin Clark is now one of the top 30 players in college basketball history. That's just it's from outer space. I don't know anybody that agrees with it. Even
how is that from? Because Mark, you know why? You know why? Because in the realm of sports analysis, there has become this thing that you have to be valued by championships. Okay? In any sport, that's what they speak of. Magic won a title. Bird didn't, but as soon as he came into the league, he did. Okay? So that argument is thrown in the trash. I have seen so many players who have had an innate and gifted ability to be an it factor. That does not mean that they either have become totally great or the best all time.
Why
so for me, listen, Mark, I'm trying to explain to you why the way I am. So what I am telling you is I have to see it first. If she does it, I will be the first to clap.
You don't make first to clap
because she accomplished it. I want to see her accomplish it. If she does, then I'm cool with it. Mike, I'm not going to sit here and say that Caitlin Clark totally sucks. Look, see, Mark, you're coming back with the counselor. You don't like my questions because whenever I say a point, you have to give, you don't want to hear.
That's why you don't want to answer my question.
You don't want to hear. I'm telling you, if she, I'm giving you what you want here. You're continuously laughing. No, you're not.
You're not answering my question.
You're continuously laughing. I'm telling you, if Caitlin Clark wins 4 or 5 championships, she wins 4 or 5 WNBA MVPs, she wins multiple gold medals, I will give her all of her propers immediately and unapologetically. Okay, but to sit here and say that you won't allow me that preference to understand her game and how it affects the WNBA in the past, in the future, and the present is preposterous.
Mike.
Okay, I am not saying that she won't get there, Mark. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? Do you understand
what you're saying? I understand what you're saying, but I also know you saying that you'll give her props for it. That's not true at all because you didn't give her props.
Okay, Mark. Okay. You didn't give her props, man. I'm out of here. See, your whole thing is built on discrediting me. Okay, I'm not trying to discredit you at all. I'm saying you are allowed to have your opinion. What I am saying from my standpoint, I have seen things in the past that have bit me in the butt. Okay, so now with gaining the experience in this sports journalism realm, I'm going to hold my opinion on what she may be in the future, just like I will about Juju or any of the myriad of women that I have named. Any of them, I'm not going to say that they're going to be the best all time. I'm not going to do that, even though I might think that they might.
Are you trying to tell me you don't make any sports projections how good a player is going to play in the league when he comes out of college and when he's going to play in the pros? You're going to tell me you never make those projections?
I do.
Okay, so what's the difference in what I'm doing about projecting Caitlin Clark? What's the difference?
Because because the projections that I make do not discredit other players or disrespect.
I'm not discrediting anybody. I'm giving you reality.
I'm gonna tell you the 2 guys who I've made projections about. It's been Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. When nobody believed that Jalen Hurts was the guy, I believed he was based on my research of him, his father, his speaking voice, his leadership, what happened at Alabama, and whatever. With Lamar Jackson, I said it because it was 3,000, 1,000 at Louisville and fell behind Baker Mayfield, who people still give a bunch of bull crap credit to, who went number 1 in the draft when Lamar went, 18? You could not see at that point that Lamar Jackson was going to be a much greater player than Baker Mayfield?
Well, you're just proving my point, so thank you.
No, I'm not proving. I'm not proving the point.
I can see.
I'm not proving the point.
That's fine. You're wrong, but it's fine. You're wrong about her college career.
What's wrong about that? What's wrong about that?
Huh?
What's wrong about what I just said about either of those players?
You said you're giving me a hard time about projecting Caitlin Clark and how good I think she's going to be. Then you're projecting about Lamar Jackson. You're doing the same thing I am.
Mark. You're missing that point. What I am saying is those two players will be great regardless of what anybody says about them. You have to get out of this matrix, this mainstream listening to these mainstream pundits who are strictly there to sell clicks. That's it. That's it. Anybody on TV is about clicks.
1 second. Okay, Mike. If I thought of a college player that was not one of the top 30 players in the history of basketball, I would even dream of projecting that person to win 2 MVPs and 2 titles. If I thought a player was right now as a rookie, not one of the top 10 players in the league as a rookie, I would not be projecting her to win 2 NBA championships. So I don't think you're being honest about how good Caitlin Clark is in college and in the pros this year.
Again, Mark, you speak in hyperbole because you are not even naming 10 players who could be debated as a counterpoint to Caitlin Clark in terms of being the best in the league. You're saying that she is right now top 10 player in the whole entire WNBA.
No, she's 4th. I'm not saying top 10. I'm saying what she got in the MVP voting.
Okay, Mark. So, you're going to lose me there.
Well, that's fine. I don't care
because I'm telling you right now, Abumake is a better scorer.
Not as good as Caitlin Clark right now.
Okay,
Thomas,
man.
Sabrina, and SQ.
Okay, man. Okay. Is she better than Fee Collins?
No, I already went over this. I said there's 3 players better than him. That's why she's 4th. Where am I losing you on this? It's not difficult.
So is she better than Alyssa Thompson?
Yes, Alyssa Thomas, yes.
How is she better? Alyssa Thompson has more triple doubles herself the entire WNBA history. You know that? Did you know that?
Triple doubles this year, almost had a third by 1 rebound.
So what, man? So what? This is a person who has done it historically at a record-setting pace.
That's whatever. It doesn't matter. We're talking about right now. We're not talking about her career.
Right now, I'm picking Alyssa Thompson over Caitlin Clark.
Her career is irrelevant. That's why Caitlin Clark was voted ahead of her.
Her career is irrelevant to the people who don't want to see
how she is
the
right
totality
now.
of the league.
Right now, Mike, we're talking right now. We're not talking about a career. You can't compare a rookie's career to a person who's been in their league for 10 years. We're talking about right now. She's not as good as Caitlin Clark. She's just not. There's 3 people better than Caitlin Clark, and by the end of next year, she'll be the best player.
Connecticut finish where in the league? You know what I'm saying? You know, Mark, if Caitlin Clark was better than Alyssa Thomas, then she would at least been in the Final 4 of the WNBA playoffs.
Oh, okay? She didn't have any talent. Look, man. You realize this is a team sport. You realize this is a team sport.
I'm trying to have some patience in terms of how you view this sport. To say that Caitlin Clark is the 4th best player in the entire NBA after 1 season is one of the most ridiculous things I have ever heard, sports or not sports or whatever.
A lot of people think she's the best player in the league already.
Or candy at the damn store. Like, come on, man. You're asking me to, kind of be objective, or you're asking me to debate.
You're not being objective. That's the problem. You're not here to debate Clark.
I'm here to say that, with all due respect, man, okay, Caitlin Clark is not top 10 in this league yet. She's not top 10. I don't care about who voted for what. Like I said, it's a popularity contest.
So I'm confused. Why is your opinion worth more than 67 people who voted who were qualified voters?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm sure that a lot of them don't watch as many games as I do. That's for sure. They can't. They're traveling. They're writing. They're doing this. They cannot watch the games. That's what you don't understand because you're not in it. So you're trying to discredit me instead of listening to what I'm trying to tell you.
I've listened to everything you said.
Game and about
my head's spinning because of it.
Because so when you come to me with this point about the people voted for, that means nothing to me. I want to know who those people are. I want to know why they voted. I want to know who they kind of pushed aside to vote for her, because that's what they said. Caitlin Clark isn't even the best white player in the league, man.
She's even the best white.
She's not even the best white player in the league. Good gosh.
Well, that's true, because I think Brianna Stewart's this much better than her right now, but she won't be by the end of next year. But that's
I take Kelsey Plum over her too. No question about it. She has proven. What you mean? Oh my God, Mark!
You can't be serious.
That type of reaction that says that Kelsey Plum sucks. When she
No,
doesn't.
it means it's not. It's very clear that she's better than Kelsey Plum.
Because someone can shoot from 40 feet does not make them the best player.
Okay.
It does not.
Tell me the 10 players that are better than Caitlin Clark. Besides the 3 that I've already mentioned that I think are better.
Go Alyssa Thomas.
No, Thomas. Alyssa Thomas, not Thomas.
Alyssa Thomas. I'll go Abumake.
Again, Abumake? She doesn't play much defense, and she's a very inefficient shooter. Okay, go ahead. Whatever.
Listen, when they ask for somebody to get a bucket,
not even close.
When they when you say it's not even close, that is the discrediting that I'm talking about. Because if you speak to WNBA players, if they want to speak about a play before you respond, listen. When they want to get a bucket, they're going to Abumake, Asia Wilson, or Nafisa Collier. Okay, some of them might go Plum. Okay, some of them might go Jewel Lloyd. You know, some of them might
Lloyd
go.
Shot a very small, low percentage. So does Abumake. I'm going to Caitlin Clark.
Okay, you will, Mark. But you know, the main problem that I have with this conversation and the fact that you know, you got all these Caitlin Clark fans or whatever, they do not credit or give proper respect to the women who are playing in the game. Okay, first of all, a lot of them probably don't watch them. They don't watch these other players. They turn on the Caitlin Clark game, see what she does, and are either excited or disappointed at the end. But they are not going through statistics for the rest of the WNBA players. They're not giving proper credit. They're not giving proper credit to any other woman in the league. All they're seeing is Caitlin Clark, period. And that's it. You have to understand that. And what will happen is these Caitlin Clark fans will just be like Taylor Swift fans, will just be like Beyonce fans, and whatever else. They will be seen as a cult. So and this is already being said about them only because they aren't properly giving objectivity to their fandom of Caitlin Clark. If they gave credit to other players, listen, because you're not understanding this. If they give proper credit to other players with also praising Caitlin Clark, is more believable and sustainable. But the first thing out of their mouth, whether it is Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, or whoever else, is to discredit that other player. And you cannot sit here and say to me that isn't the truth.
Hey, hang on one second. There's somebody, Ben Daniels' podcast is in the audience. I just wanted to let him know that he's more than welcome to come on the show any Monday or Thursday. I've been trying to reach you. So I just wanted to let you know that. You can find my email and my channel. Just want you to know that, Ben. I enjoy your channel a lot. Okay. So anyways, I just want to get that. I've been trying to reach him. I don't know if he got my messages. Anyway, and Chicks Dig Scar podcast, I'm trying to reach him too. Anyway.
Give proper respect to the game and it's more believable. That's all I'm saying. Proper respect.
But
no,
Mike,
you're not.
You only like once.
Listen, Mark, listen to me. Whenever
I
I
did
say
for the last
a
5
name,
minutes. You don't let me talk.
whenever I say a name, you say a deficiency of that player. It doesn't matter who I said, except for Asia Wilson or Nafisa. Everybody else, you have given me the first reaction of discrediting of that player. Every single time.
How else do I show you that Caitlin Clark is better than another without discrediting them? That's how you do a debate, Mike.
Because it's
That's
about
how you show
respect.
your players better.
It's about respect.
That's insane
You can
for me to
say
say that's something wrong with doing that.
Caitlin Clark is. You can say how great Caitlin Clark is, but you also say these other players are also great.
I've acknowed Caitlin.
I would love to see these other players in competition
the last 2 years. I don't
versus
have to
Caitlin
read
Clark.
100 times.
Okay, but you're speaking in votings. This mainstream. How many MVPs did Will Chamberlain win?
I think it was 4.
And most basketball people I talked to said he should have been MVP for the entirety of his career.
Well, so should have Michael Jordan, but he didn't win them.
Right. Okay. That proves the point.
Let me ask you this scenario, Mike. Let's pretend that you took Will Chamberlain and put him on Bill Russell's teams. And then you took Bill Russell and put him on Will Chamberlain's teams for their entire career, which is a really fair thing to do because they play the same position in the same era. Do you really think that Bill Russell would only win 2 championships? And do you think that Will Chamberlain would have won 11 championships? I don't think so.
I think he won more championships. Mark. Do you know? Do you know?
Answer the question, Mike.
In 1962.
Answer the question. I asked you a question.
1962.
Fair question.
Because you're going to ask me something crazy like that.
That's not a crazy question. It's a fair question.
I'm going to give you 1962.
Anytime you don't like, Mike, anytime you don't like the question that I asked you,
Mark, because it's preposterous to me. In 1962, Will Chamberlain averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds. He averaged 37 more points than Bill Russell.
Answer the question.
Okay, there was Elgin Baylor, who averaged 38 and 20.
I know the whole history of basketball.
Okay,
Mike.
Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for the entire season. Okay, the rookie for the Hawks with 30 and 18.
Mike.
Mark. Of course, I'm going to. There is no data. There is no discernible, respectable data that will say that Will Chamberlain will not win as many championships. Because first of all, let me say this about it. Everybody says that Bill Russell was the best defensive player ever. Do you know that Will averaged 28 and 28 against him?
Mike,
how was that seen? How was that seen as the best defensive player ever? Okay, Mike, so
let me ask you a question.
A lot of stuff in the NBA history is what you're doing right now. It's discrediting.
I'm not discrediting anyone.
What he did because he was so outstandingly great.
Showing their limitations, pointing out their limitations is not discrediting anybody. It's just being honest about it. Mike, how come every time you ask me a question, I ask you, and every time I ask you a question that you don't like answering,
this is what I told you before we got on the phone. If you're gonna speak to me on an intelligent level,
I did. Those are intelligent questions. You just don't like them.
I'm going to give you a proper response. If you don't speak to me on an intelligent level, which respects my experience in this game and knowledge as a historian of basketball, then you're going to understand that I'm going to speak in more sounds and syllables than one player.
So you're telling me I've asked you like 100 questions. You've answered like 2 of them today. So you're going to tell me like 98% of my questions are so bad that you can't answer them. You really think that's true?
Yes,
you really think that's true?
Mark.
How come nobody else that comes on the show?
I'm not calling you stupid. What I'm saying, you're not talking to these dudes. You're not talking to these dudes who you just had on. You're speaking to a dude who puts away all types of biases and speaks to the game in its entire history.
Mike,
I am respecting the game because I love basketball so much.
I know, Mike, but let me just finish. Hey, listen, I'm a lawyer, and I'll tell you something. When I cross-examine someone and I ask them a question and they don't like the answer they have to give, they avoid answering the question, or they don't ask. Of course, I don't let them go on because they have to answer the question. But that's exactly what you've been doing. Anytime I ask a question that's going to make my point, you won't answer it because you don't like the point that's going to make.
Because
It's not
the
a
point
fair
is
debate. It's not a fair
point
debate.
to me is immaterial.
No,
Okay,
it's
when you ask,
you
there is
answer the
no
question, then you
way.
can argue why it's immaterial.
Mark. I don't care about the written journalism of sports because I go back to Walter Winchell. Do you know who Walter Winchell is?
Walter who?
No, of course you don't.
I
Of course you don't.
The
Do you know who
sound
Walter
went out.
Winchell is?
Walter
You know who
Winchell?
Walter Winchell is?
I've heard of him. I don't remember who he is.
Okay. Walter Winchell was a great commentator and writer in the Josephine Baker era. Okay. So his editor, instead of pronouncing more his greatness in sport and in writing and commentary, chose to make him heel journalism. He went after all politicians. He went after all athletes. He went after all entertainers, found dirt on them, and discredited them. Okay? So this is what we see in history now. When someone wants to, Mark, you're asking me to answer why. You're asking me to answer why. So what I would say, right, objection, and the judge is going to say sustained.
My question is
not let me finish my point. Not let me finish my point.
Questions.
What I am saying to you is the only way people who don't have a full knowledge of something, they seek to discredit. Instead of saying or giving something to the counterpoint that is morally moral, or it's going to be something of bull crap. Okay, you're saying to me a bunch of, and these last two dudes, especially the dude with the Caitlin Clark shirt on, my God.
He asked you a good question. He asked you a good question about Michael Jordan. That's a very good question. You just didn't like the answer or what it implied.
What was the question? What was the question? What was the question?
He was asking you, did you know Mike? You were talking about championships, and he said, did you know Michael Jordan was a great player before he won championships?
And I said, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I said, yeah.
So why is that a bad question? Why is that a bad question? It's a good point. That's what I pointed out to
Mark, because
I know she has
Mark.
I know she hasn't won a championship, but she will. I knew Michael Jordan would win championships.
In my realm of commentary and journalism, it is a petty ground floor question because it has nothing to do with the conversation. Obviously, Michael Jordan was a great player. Obviously, Julius Erving, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson were all great players. That is something that doesn't need to be repeated. It distracts from the entire conversation. You may think as a lawyer, it builds a case. It does not build a case in my realm, dude. I want to speak about the game itself. I don't want to speak about discrediting people. I don't need to discredit anybody. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do it. I want to speak about the game, the love of it, why all of these players are great without comparisons.
Do you think you're the only one that
gosh, like it's become so, you know what? It became so bad in 2005 when the snark came off of all the blogs. The snark. And I told everybody back then that all these athletes are going to do is go get their own blogs or find some type of way where they can speak independently. And it killed journalism. So don't give me this trash. Don't give me this trash about what I don't know.
It's easy to prove to you that I was more objective about Caitlin Clark than you are because
you were,
I predicted
your whole show's named Caitlin Clark.
You would have said, "There's no way she's making first team All Pro. She's going to get eaten up in that league," which they did.
I would never said that. I didn't say that. I never said that. I never said that she wouldn't be.
You would have because she wasn't a top 30 player in college of all time in your mind, which means you thought she was way worse than she was.
Mark, you know what the difference is? I would not have laughed at you if you said it.
I'm not saying anything crazy. That's why.
That's the difference. I'm going to allow you your perspective and your view on it, which came out to be right.
No, you told me that you think it's insane that I'm predicting that she's going to be the best player of all time. You did not do that. That's not true.
Mark, see, Mark. Now, you're playing bad.
It's on tape, Mike.
You're playing bad here. What you just said was, if you would have said that she would have been first team All-Pro, this and that, whatever, nobody believed it. I would have given you your props for saying that. You knew me.
You would have said
like people know
that, Mike, because you didn't think she was that good. I can tell by how you ranked her in college, and now you don't even think she's in the top 10.
Mark,
you don't think she's going to be MVP.
There's no disrespect to her, Mark. There's no disrespect to her. It's a respect to the players who came before her, who did more, who just wasn't.
I'm so tired of that argument.
Man,
this is the
listen,
only
man.
league in the world where we have to take a quiz about the players in the league and bow down to the players before that. No, they don't do that in the NBA. They look at the reception they gave Victor W.
Mark, fine. I agree with everything. Mark, fine. I agree with everything you say, man. I agree.
Good.
Whatever I agree with.
Better. You're being more reasonable now.
My ego ain't like that, dude. My ego is not like that. Okay? I am one man. I'm looking for a proper perspective to round my perpetual perspective on something, whatever we're talking about. I am here to learn. If you're not going to give me anything to learn about,
if you wanted to learn, you would answer my question.
You at every single GD time. Every single time. When you give me something that I will respect and congratulate you and shake your hand. You have not done that yet.
I've not done
neither of your guests have done that yet. I'm asking you to properly give respect to the game with also giving respect.
What have I said that doesn't respect the game?
If you do, because like I said before, whenever I say a name, the first thing is to discredit that
only
player.
If you're saying she's better than Caitlin Clark. I got to point out her weaknesses. How else do I make the argument that it's not true? It's impossible.
If you are not objective to also Caitlin Clark's weaknesses,
I've already discussed them.
Respect it. You cannot, because man, listen.
I've already acknowledged them a million times. Like even today in the 2 hour things, I've acknowledged.
We started off this conversation talking about defense and how defense wins games, and via
I don't buy the defense wins games more than offense. Like,
you can discount that all. Mark, I'm out of here. Okay, see you, man.
That's fine.
Take care.
All right. See you. Okay. Anyway, that was interesting. Does anybody agree with what he was saying? Tell me, did I say something? Tell me if you think that I said something that was an unfair point or an unfair question or an invalid point. Just tell me. Let me know what weaknesses I may have had in my argument, and I'll do better next time. But quite honestly, I think it was obvious who made better points. That's all I can say. To say he's not one of the top 30 players in college basketball history is insanity. Okay, so we all know that. To say she's not in the top 10 is insanity. To say she's not number one, fine, whatever. You can make that argument. I don't think so. I think her ability to make the teammates better and how she dragged a bunch of nobodies to the finals 2 years in a row proves she's the best player of all time, at least since Cheryl Miller. And I saw Cheryl Miller play, just so you know. I did. I actually saw her play. I watched her in the Olympics. I went back and watched her 2 championship games. I watched her against Russia in '86. I've seen her play. I don't understand how anytime the votes come out that you don't like, all these voters suddenly didn't watch. I don't understand that concept. That's unless he's following these 67 people around all day, how would he know whether they watch? I asked him whether or not the people he interviewed told him he didn't watch. He wouldn't answer the question. I asked him, would he have predicted Caitlin Clark was first team All-Pro? He wouldn't answer the question. I asked him, how does it make sense that you think she's not in the top 30, but yet you think she's going to win 2 MVPs? Because he knew he had to concede that point because he knew she's going to win 2 championships because he knows that she's better than he thinks is letting on. And I didn't try to discredit anyone. I just pointed out Juju is not an efficient offensive player. He called her a fantastic offensive player to me on the phone today before we got in the air. And I said, Mike, she's not an efficient offensive player. She's a fantastic defensive player most of the time, not even all the time. I don't think she has the motor that Hannah Hidalgo has defensively. It's more in spurts. But she is an excellent defensive player. and she's a good offensive player who's inefficient that her fans don't realize. They don't realize that she has more for her career. She still has more turnovers than assists. So if turnovers are so bad, according to Caitlin Clark haters, why does that not apply to Juju? I don't know. Race? I don't know. What do I know? I can't read into people's mind. You can tell me. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, he wrote some articles in the New York Times too, which kind of surprised me. He wrote for Slam Magazine for a while. I don't think Slam Magazine was a very good magazine, but he wrote for Slam Magazine, and he does good interviews. I've heard of his interviews. I would have kicked him. I gave him 2 hours to make his point across, but he didn't. He made the same point over and over again. That we don't know sports basketball history, and he does. So I don't know what to say. You really don't think I know basketball history? I'm watching 5 years longer than him too. So yeah, I was on the phone with him earlier and he wouldn't let me speak either. And then he tried to misconstrue what I was trying to say about Juju Watkins and Caitlin Clark. He didn't even let me give Juju Watkins her props over the phone or acknowledge Caitlin Clark's weaknesses over the phone because he wouldn't let me finish a sentence. So I don't know what to say. You guys said that you wanted people that had viewpoints that were different than all Caitlin Clark lovers. So I put him on. He watches basketball. He wasn't someone that didn't watch, and he's written sports and interviewed sports. So I didn't put someone on. I didn't put a 10-year-old who doesn't watch, who doesn't know anything about it. So I would, anybody that wants to debate with him, I'm not sure he'll come on again. These, by the way, this wasn't a planned ambush with 2 black guys on the team. I didn't know Mike, what's his name? Pope was scheduled since Monday, and AK wasn't sure he could make it today, so he wasn't even scheduled for sure. He said maybe, and I didn't have a third person. And Mike, I left a message for Mike, and he didn't agree to this till yesterday. And Pope was already scheduled, so I didn't put 2 black guys on him. But on the phone, when I asked him talking about Caitlin Clark, I said a lot of people think this. He goes, "Yeah, the white community." So he was implying that it's only white people that think Caitlin Clark is great. And I said, no, there's all sorts of black podcasters and all sorts of black people that follow our thing, except for ESPN, that all think Caitlin Clark is great. So there's the 2 guys that argued with him. He just happened to be on the show. I said, this is great. I have 2 black guys scheduled already. So you can't say it's race. And anybody that listens to me knows it's not race. I don't give a crap what race Caitlin Clark is. Almost all my favorite athletes are black. I get one white athlete and suddenly it's racist. I get one white athlete I get behind and suddenly it's racist. It's like 80% of my athletes are black because I like basketball and football. And as we know, they dominate those 2 sports. So I don't give a crap what race anybody is. I hate when people, that's what drives Rob crazy too. He feels the same way. Race. People see race. You can just evaluate a person without their race, please. Oh my God. It's just like, this world is crazy. Juju Watkins, we're shoving her. Poor Juju Watkins. She's a nice woman. She praises Caitlin Clark. She respects Caitlin Clark. She respects the game. She just wants to play basketball. And they want to make her out to something that she's not there yet. Like I said, I'm not discrediting her. I'm projecting her to be one of the top 5 players of all time, both in college and WNBA. How is that giving her a hard time or discrediting her? I've just pointed out her deficiencies. I don't know what to say. I don't know how that's being unfair. That's strong. AK didn't think that at all. He didn't think, he thought I was crazy to say that about Juju. I'm just trying to be fair. So anyways, I actually reached out to, what's that ball dropping guy? So I don't know. Is that his name? Something ball dropping or something. I left a message for him and I'll be happy to put him on the show if he comes on. I don't know if I could do this every time, get my heart going. I might have to have some scotch right now. In fact, you guys, can I get some scotch right now? Is that okay? You guys mind? I don't usually drink during the week. I usually drink on weekends when I go dancing. Mick, yeah, I actually was able to get through to Mick. By the way, I invited Ben Daniels podcast knows he's invited now. He knows I want him and Chick Sits Bar podcast. I really like their shows. I think they're both smart guys. They're both funny. They're invited. Now I know he knows because he doesn't respond. So, and a lot of people don't look at their business emails when you open up a YouTube channel. You have to have an email for them, and people don't want to put their personal emails in. So they put business email, and they never check their business email. So I've invited a bunch of people that might not even know they're invited. And then an X, you can't leave a message unless they allow you to. Either they have to follow you or they have to have an open thing. So I was able to find Mick open thing. I doubt he reads his X emails, but I reached out to him. I said, I'm aware there's a 5-hour time zone difference. If you can do it, great. I reached out to Carter Convo, a bright young podcaster. I think he played basketball. I reached out to Venom Reacts. I reached out to, you name it, I reached out to them if I think they could add something to the show. So Robin said he's coming back, but not all the time. Let's see. Adrienne Ross is going to be on the next 2 Mondays, and then she's said she'll let me know after that, how often she wants to do it, but she committed to 4 weeks. Rob's going to be on the 20 next Thursday and the 24th for sure, and maybe the 17th. And so if you're a podcaster out there, you can reach out to me, and as long as I think you can add something to the show, as long as you have as long as you have knowledge and somewhat intelligent, I'll put you on. Or as you can see, sometimes you don't have to necessarily be intelligent in the discussion. I'm not saying he's not intelligent. He just wasn't intelligent in the discussion because whatever reason he wants to underrate Caitlin Clark, whether it's because of race or not, I don't know. But to not see the it factor in Caitlin Clark is bizarre to me because it's the clearest thing since Michael Jordan that someone has an it factor, in my opinion. So that's all I can say. Yeah, I don't know if it would work with Adrian or Robin. They're pretty laid back. The Pope and AK could handle him, but it's really hard. I didn't want to turn his mic off. All right. Thank you, Bobby. The great guest. Yeah, I reached out to, what's her name? Rachel, whatever. She's so big, she probably won't come on. She's got like 780,000, subscribers. She gets interviews with Hannah Hidalgo. I don't think I could get one. But she's smart. She knows basketball. She played basketball. I'd love to have Rachel on. I can't pronounce. What's her last name? Rachel Tomatoes, whatever her name is. She has good commentary. I reached out to W360, and I reached out to Quit to Love Sports or whatever her name is. I forget her name. So whatever. I reached out to a lot of people. So don't think I'm not trying. I've spent a lot of time reaching out to people because I know you guys want different guests. So anyways, and listen, I listened to recommendations. Yeah, Rachel's a long shot, right? So Mick's probably a long shot. Because the time zone, I don't even know if he has time. He's too busy making things. Your guy, Brandon, he's kind of new though, right? He didn't have a lot of followers yet. But I didn't want to turn his mic off. I should have because it seems rude to do that. I reached out to Simply Ball Dropping. I tried to leave him a message. Anyways. Well, there wasn't a lot of viewers on to begin with today because I don't think a lot of people knew about it because it was our first Thursday show. So I don't think he really killed a lot of viewers. There was only like 100 and something at our peak today. It wasn't that bad. Wasn't that great? Have a drink. It was worse when I called him on the phone and I just said, listen, I know we knew a lot about the NBA, and I said, but our audience kind of wants to talk about Caitlin Clark. I said, I have some NBA questions for you, but I was mainly want to talk about Caitlin Clark and anything related to her. So have you been following women's basketball? And he goes, yeah, I know all about it. I know Juju. Okay, okay, fine. We started talking about it, and it was the same thing, only worse on the phone. He wouldn't let me say anything, and then said my viewpoints were wrong. And I go, how would you know? You haven't let me speak. And his sister, who I'm friends with, is screaming in the background, backing him up. She doesn't like women's sports. It's funny. She was on the show. She called in the show once, actually. Someone said they liked her voice. That was it was, what was her name? The Yankee Doodle Dandy. She was on one of our first live shows with a nice voice. That's her brother. She's a big baseball fan, so she doesn't really follow basketball anymore. She used to. She gave up on basketball and football. I don't know why, but she still likes baseball. She thinks football's fixed. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So anyways, yeah. Rachel, just like Joy Taylor, would bring in a lot of viewers for you. Well, they have a different build, so I'm not sure that would work. She's a very pretty woman, though. I'll say that. She's strikingly pretty, I think. But she's smart. She knows basketball. She's got a really pleasant personality. She'd be fantastic on the show. But I think she's too big. She's not going to respond. Until I make this show bigger. Yeah. So, anyways. Did I make any arguments that were invalid that you thought? Or any questions that were unfair? Even if you don't like hypotheticals, were any of my questions unfair that I asked him? Were any of them, what's the word I'm thinking of? Unfair is good enough. I reached out to John the Liquidator. So, anyways, championships are really important unless we're talking about Wilt. Then they're suddenly not important again. He doesn't care how talented the other players around him. Only did they win. Unless Juju doesn't win, then of course you're going to have some kind of excuse for that one, I'm sure. W3. Make some shorts of this. I'm thinking about it. I've had 3 shows, and Adrian had some nice little takes that I could make good on. I think Robin had some good takes that I could make shorts on the show. AK is always interesting. He always has interesting points. The Pope had a good question right off the bat. Mike didn't want to answer it at first, and then he finally did. But then he said it had nothing to do with anything, when of course it had a lot to do with everything. I'm telling you, listen, I don't like to be a lawyer, but when I ask you a question that's a valid question and you don't like to answer it, everybody knows the reason why. A 10-year-old going, he's lying. He doesn't want to answer the question. And that's why people don't want to answer the question. That's why they avoid answering the question, because they don't like the answer they have to give. And when they give the answer, they know I'm going to ask another question or make a point based upon that answer. So they don't want to give that to you. So they won't answer the question. That's not a fair debate. I answered every question he asked me. Every question he asked me, I answered it without hesitation. Why? Because, okay, even if it's a bad, unfair question, I can counter that after I answer the question. I'll say, yeah, but, okay, here's my answer, but here's what I think about the validity of that question, or the significance, or how relevant it is to the discussion. That's all you have to do. Avoid answering the question just shows you that you're not doing a fair debate, and that you're afraid that it's going to hurt your side of the argument. Well, that's not how you have a fair debate. Sorry. I know. I was on the phone with him, and I was saying, okay, Mike, okay, you don't think he's a great player. I go, give me a number. He goes, well, she's not in the top 10. I go, give me a number. No, well, she's not in the top 20. I said, all right, fine. She's a top 30, maybe. I go, so you're saying there's 25 players better than her in history? He goes, I don't even know about top 30. I go, okay, so you're saying there's not 30 top players better than her? He goes, yeah. I said, okay, so she's not in the top 30. I just want to be fair about this and tie you down. He goes, yeah. He said this to me on the phone. I said, okay, that's fair enough. I just want to know where you stand, because you're saying I'm overrating her, so I want to know where you're rating her too, so we have an analysis here. Yeah, she's invited. I don't know how to pronounce her name, Qita, where she always says awesome people of the internet. I like that, actually. Fly Hippie's invited. I think Fly Hippie's a smart guy. I like his takes. He's got common sense. I like how he says, let's get it. I can't do it as well as him, but I like the way he says it. Anyway. They're all invited. So, anyways. I don't know what to say. Can I pour some scotch now? I don't like talking over people. When the other person won't shut up, I don't know what to do. I don't want to. I guess I could have turned his mic off, but it doesn't do any good. It doesn't answer the question. What do you want me to do? I don't know. He seemed condescending to me. He's talking down to me like I didn't know basketball, and I know basketball as well as him, and I've been watching it 5 years longer. So I'm not getting into other things that I'm thinking, but I don't know. He thinks LeBron's better than Jordan and Will Chamberlain. So that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with people thinking LeBron's better than Jordan. I don't agree with it. It's in the ballpark at least, but not top 3 in college. That's not in the ballpark. I'm sorry. I'm going to call that insane. I don't know how you can't be polite about a comment like that. When I see people say comments like LeBron wouldn't make my top 25, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be polite about it. That's insanity. That's insanity. You want to say LeBron doesn't make your top 5? Fine. Not your top 10? Well, that's kind of insane too. But if you want to say LeBron's better than Michael Jordan, fine. We'll have a debate about it. You want to say Kobe's better than Michael Jordan? No, not fine. Every statistical category shows you, except for 3-point shooting, Michael Jordan was better than Kobe. That's a fair matchup. They're both 2-point guards. But you want to say Jabbar's greatest player of all time? Fine. But you can't say insane things like that. She's not a top 10 player in the league when you came 4th in the MVP voting and was first team All-Pro. Like all the 67 people voted who didn't have an agenda for Caitlin Clark. We know that. We know the media doesn't. Most of them. That was a fair vote. 4th place was a fair vote. You know, I know some people thought she was MVP. So I see that. I think that's crazy. Some people thought Adrienne Ross thought she was the best player in the league the second half of the season after the Olympic breaks. I don't agree with her, but at least that's in the ballpark. There was 3 people better than her, I thought, for the whole year or at the end of the year, just because they both play great offense and defense. Those 3 players. So, yeah, I have no problem with saying how great Juju is and going to be. I just don't want people to say she's perfect when she's not. And I don't think Caitlin Clark is perfect. And I've been criticizing her for a whole year now in my videos. LeBron, a top 40 player. Michael Jordan. There's this one guy that has a broadcast that says Michael Jordan fans are the most delusional fans in the world. So anyone, if you think Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, according to him, you're delusional because you don't know basketball. That's his whole podcast or YouTube channel. And then he gets people to come on, and the only people that come on don't know how to debate and don't know facts. And so it's like a useless channel. And I refuse to go on his channel because I'm not going to help him make money on a point that's not even a valid premise to begin with. Michael Jordan fans, even if you don't think she's the greatest player of all time, are not delusional. The majority of people think he's the greatest player of all time. How can the majority be delusional about rating a player that great? That makes no sense. So they won't speak of any fallacies that Juju has. They all say, she plays great at the brightest moments. Until the UCLA games, till those 2 games, she hadn't played well in the big games this year. Against UConn, yeah, in the first half she was great. She cooled off in the second. I had this written down in the games that let me just point it out. The most important games of the year this year that she had. Let me just point out. The most high-profile game. She didn't play well against Notre Dame. She played well against UConn, but overall, but not. The second half was average. Against Iowa, they're not a premier team, but that had all the eyes on it. She played poorly. Ohio State, the next highest-ranked team she played other than Notre Dame, she played poorly. And she didn't play well when she got eliminated in the NCAA tournament last year against UConn. She was very inefficient. So until she came to UCLA in the 4 biggest games of the year, and if you include last game she played last year, in 5 games, she played well once in 5 games. And yet these people are saying she's always brightest when she's always brightest when the stars are bright. She always plays her best when the stars are brightest. Not true until the last 2 games. True, the last 2 games she played fantastic against. And that's the only reason I would vote for her over Hannah Hidalgo is how she finished the season, even though I have no problem if you think Hannah Hidalgo should have won. I have no problem if you think even Tanaya Latson should have won, or even, I don't know, Lauren Betts, she let me down those 2 games. I don't know. I couldn't vote for her. But if you wanted to vote for Hannah Hidalgo, no problem. I had Hannah until the last game of the year, I think. I thought it was tied, pretty much tied going into that game. And Hannah Hidalgo was cold again at the end of the year. But I don't have a problem with Hannah Hidalgo. I don't think, Juju started out cold. Why? We all know why. There was too much pressure on her. They were trying to push her out to replace Caitlin Clark. This is obvious. It's racist. It's a racial thing with overly woke white people and some black commentators and black people in the media. That's it. Let's just call it what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it anymore. You can call it sisterhood for the blacks. It's racist. It is. It just is. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of racism. I don't like it on either side. The far right, the very far right can be racist a lot of times. The very far left claims there's racism when there's not. That drives me crazy. It drives Rob crazy. And Rob's pretty liberal, but he found the very far left crazy, just like I do. I don't know what to say. Caitlin Clark showed me there's more racism in this country than even I thought before. Just like, Donald Trump came out and I saw more racism than I thought I saw before. On both sides, I saw more racism. Caitlin Clark displayed the arguments around Caitlin Clark displayed more racism to me. When people didn't want to follow Caitlin Clark after they thought she might be a liberal and didn't want to follow her anymore, I go, really? You're not going to follow an athlete because you think she might be a Democrat instead of Republican? That seemed kind of weird to me. Okay. It didn't change. It won't change my view for it. If she turned out to be a very far right, I would still follow her. I don't know. That's me. I don't know what to say. Oh, she was. I don't know. Juju didn't look happy while she was playing. I mean, part of it is because how are you going to be happy when you're shooting poorly, right? So, no. I know she wasn't. Listen, I know that's just the athletic. Okay, first of all, athletic is not one of the major awards, to be honest with you. There's the Wooden, there's the Naismith, there's a Professional Writers Association, Professional U.S. Basketball Writers Association. There's AP, and there's also a Ward Trophy, but they have like a weird criteria. Like Melissa Smith won it over Paige Beckers. Cheryl Miller only won it once instead of 3 times. They have like the spirit of whoever it was based upon. I forget it was, whatever way. So that award isn't so. But there's 4 major awards, and we haven't heard from any of them yet. Athletic is not one of them. I'm just saying she won it for that particular award, that category. And we don't even know how many people voted. It's at a committee. It could have been a committee of 3. So the 4 major ones, again, are AP, U.S. Basketball Writers Association, the Naismith, and the Wooden Award. And those haven't come out yet. And they don't, the only ones that'll tell you how the voting was broken down is AP. They'll tell you what the breakdown is. The other ones just tell you who won or lost, which I find disheartening. I'd like to know what the breakdown was. The athletic it's a minor award, especially since we don't know if 2 people voted or 100. I'm not saying 100 makes it right. I'm saying it's more likely to be correct. Like when U.S. did their greatest basketball players of all time, and they did it twice, they got 85 people to vote. All right, that doesn't prove they're right, but it's a lot better than one person's opinion, especially if they get qualified voters. So, that's all I can say. So, yeah, I'm waiting for the 4 awards come out. It wouldn't surprise me if Hannah Hidalgo wins one of them. And if you think she should win, like I said, I have no problem with that. I really thought she was winning up until the very end. Or it was close, maybe really close. I felt like Juju won before the year started, just like Asia Wilson won before the year started. That's what I felt. That's how it felt. That doesn't mean she didn't earn it at the end. I just felt like they were going to give it to her whether she earned it or not. That's the feeling I got. Not because it was unanimous. I just got that feeling from the voters. It's at the end of the world that's unanimous for one committee that we don't even know the size of. So if the right person won, I don't care if it's unanimous or not, as long as the right person won. Juju is the great black hope. That's true. I mean, it's 100% true. And it's too bad that they feel there's a need to have a black white hope. Why does 1/3 of the great players in the history of the WNBA have been white? So wouldn't that tell you that occasionally the best player in the league is going to be white at a certain point in history? Yes, of course. So why are they getting in an uproar just because a white player, it looks like she's going to be the best player? Why is that bothering them so much? That drives me crazy. Who cares that she's white? Just appreciate she's a great player. Oh my God, that drives me crazy. Please stop thinking about race with this. Just let Caitlin play, let Juju play. Hannah Dago, just let her play. I don't care that is she Puerto Rican or whatever she is? I don't care what she is. I don't even care what her political views are. Sarah Strong second? Wow. I don't know about that. I think Hannah Dago is a pretty clear second, but I like Tanaya Latson. I think Lauren Betts, I couldn't put her that high because of how the 2 games against, she came up short in the 2 biggest games of the year. And I think she has trouble when she goes up against women her size and good defenders, so that she's not dominant when she has someone closer to her ability. And I think you have to play well even when you have a good defender on you. And Tanaya Latson didn't make first team All-American with the Athletic. I think she should be. I think she's in the top 5. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tanaya Latson's in your top 5? Okay, so I got to go in a couple minutes, but tell me your top 5 down below. Try to put them in order. You're gonna put. I'll put Juju, Hannah like really close, like 100, then 99, and then I'll put Tanaya Latson and Lauren Betts, then probably Paige, then probably Sarah Strong, and then probably what's Ania Moore? Anissa Moore. I got that name wrong. Probably put her. I think Raven Johnson's up there. Haley Van Lith had a good year, right? She might make second team All-American. Am I crazy? Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody, right? I know I'm missing somebody. So, but yeah, I'll have to look at that. There was a list of the Wooden had their final 15, which I don't respect because they didn't have Caitlin Clark in their final 15. It's their freshman year. Yeah, she was probably the second best player, maybe the best player in the country. McCalla. Oh, this a freshman? I don't think she's going to make first or second team All-American, to be honest. But if you want to put her up there, that's fine. Sarah Strong will make All-American either first or second team. I don't think she'll make first team though. Let me see this 2024. Uh, 2024. Was it 2025? I'm sorry, 2025. They came out with Wooden, the women's basketball finalists. What was it that? Oh, I think I saved it on my pars. Hang on. In my bookmarks. Because I know I forgot some people. Let's see. Okay, here's one. ESPN ranking the top women's basketball players. This is preseason. Oh. All right. So there's Madison Booker. That's why I forgot. Madison Booker's up there, right? Georgia More. Audie Crooks had a big. Olivia Miles. Okay, I forgot that. I forgot her too. And Citron. So I forgot those players. It's going to be tough to choose first and second team All-Pro. Simply ball dropping thinks that he can change the definition of face of the league. So Asia Wilson's got to be the face of the league just because he thinks she's the best player, which I'm not disputing that she's the best player for now. I don't think it's going to be, you're going to say that a year from now. But they don't understand. That's not the definition. They want to change the definition of face of the league just because they're upset that Caitlin Clark's more popular than Asia Wilson. That's not how life works. That's insane. Yeah. So, I'm not saying I'm just saying she's one of the top players. I'm not saying she should be first or second team All-American. But I just threw some players out there that you can consider for first and second team All-American. I don't know who should be in the top 10. I don't think I watched enough games this year to really know for sure. I watched Juju and Hannah enough, and Lauren Betts and stuff like that. And even tonight, last night, I watched a couple times. But I watched Sarah Strong. I watched UConn and Paige. I was disappointed in Paige this year. I think she just wants to get away from Gino. I think she really feels the pressure that she's going to go be the first player of the year at UConn that didn't win a national championship. I really feel the pressure. The best thing she can do is not win a championship because now they can't argue that Caitlin Clark wasn't great after she didn't win a championship. They can't make that argument anymore. Okay. You got a woman who won player of the year as a freshman and you're going to say she's not great? Is Jay Williams going to say she's not great? Player of the year as a freshman. Yeah. No, he thinks Angel Reese is as good as Caitlin Clark. I think he told me on the phone he would have voted for Rookie of the Year for Angel Reese. I didn't even get into that conversation. My head would have exploded on the air if he was going to argue that Angel Reese was better than Caitlin Clark. But I think he argued that on the phone to me. Oh my God, I would have had a heart attack. Oh, all right. Let me know in the comments down below if I made some invalid points. I've always wanted to, strengthen my side, my viewpoint, my arguments, my debates. If I made any invalid points or unfair questions, let me know. If you think I was off base, listen. I'm saying I know my projections from Caitlin Clark are really high, and I know I'm making them early. But if I make them 2 years from now, everybody will say, "Oh, that was easy." Everybody knows that after she wins 2 MVPs and 2 titles in a row, let's say she does that, everyone's going to say, the sky's the limit. I'm saying it right now. That's what I think she's going to do. Not because I'm trying to look like a genius, but because I really feel that. I said the same thing with Michael Jordan. I was right. I have the same feeling. It's the first feeling I've had since 1984, and I could just feel it. Who knows? I could be wrong, but if she improves her defense, cuts down on the turnovers a little bit, there's the sky is the limit, and I think she's going to do that because now she has the right coach. If she had Christy Sides her entire career, no way would I be making these predictions. No way would I be making these predictions with Christy Sides as her coach, and because she didn't improve her defense either because of Christy Sides doesn't know defense. But she's got to make the effort. She's got to bend her knees, and she's got to put the effort in. More on defense. Sorry. That's just the way life is. He's right about defense in the sense that it's more important than some people think it is. I had Rudy on the other day, and I said, when you rate a player, he thinks Caitlin Clark's the best player in the league. When you rate a player, what percentage do you put on defense and what percentage do you put on offense? Not teams, not championships. And he said 80 to 90 for offense, I believe he said. I was like, really? Now, Mike thinks it's almost like 55 defense and 45 offense, which I think is bizarre because an offensive player can make 4 other players better. at one time. A defensive player can't do that. You can't really make the other defender players better very much. A small percentage, yes, but not the same degree. So offense is more important than defense when you rate a player. Not for teams. They're equal. You can say when defense wins championships, but people have done studies on that. And there's only like a 1% difference. So that's not even true. Like the theory is really not that true. You can read articles about it. But with a player, I don't know. I give like 60, 67% for offense for the reason I just gave. And I think that's reasonable. Rob likes defense a lot because he was a defensive specialist, and he thinks about 67%. He thinks 60% for offense and 40% for defense. And he loves defense. So I don't know how you could say 50-50, but that's me. And I'm thinking I'm being fair about that. I mean, Rudy, 80% offense. That's really disrespectful to how important defense is to into a game, I think. Are you invested in Paige? Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me? Oh, are you talking about Bobby? Are you invested in Paige? Oh, for me, I told you I thought Juju will be a top 5 player of all time in both college and pros. I'm not sure of it, but I see the talent in her and the potential in her. I don't feel the same thing I do about Caitlin Clark. She doesn't have the it factor, I think. She has a tremendous amount of Paige. I don't have a strong opinion on how I think she's going to do in the WNBA because I don't know how she's going to react once she's away from Gino and she's away from the pressure of winning a championship at UConn. I think if she gets back to her being more assertive like she was her freshman year, and she's far enough removed from her ACL, it's 2 years, that shouldn't be an excuse unless it's mental. But who knows? She had a knee injury too. She twisted her ankle. I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you think Paige is going to do in the WNBA? Give me her upper limit. Will she win an MVP? Forget about championships because she's got to be on the team. Will she ever win an MVP? Will she be? I agree. So it's very hard to put. That's why I don't predict anything about Paige. It's just too speculative with all the injuries. Will Paige ever win an MVP at her peak? Will she win? Will she be first team All-Pro? Will she be second team All-Pro? Will she be an all-star? Yeah, she'll be an all-star. So the question is, will she be first or second team All-Pro? I don't think she'll win an MVP. I think by the time she hits her peak, Juju will be better in the league and be better than her by that time. And I don't even think Juju. There's other players who can come around that we never heard of. But Sarah Strong is such a good freshman. Who knows how great she's going to be? So I think that's a good question. I don't have a strong feeling about that for that reason because I think there's too much unknown about her for the 3 reasons I just gave. How will she react now that she's not under the pressure of UConn? How will she react getting away from Gino and she can free up her game a little bit? She feels she can be more creative and more assertive. And the injuries, a knee injury, ACL, or ankle. So, again, I don't know. Feel free to say what you think about. I think it's a really good question because it's a hard one. The hard questions are the best ones. Like if people don't think she'll get MVP, I agree. I can see her being first team All-Pro at her absolute peak if she doesn't get injured a lot. Yeah, so I see that. I can't see an All-Pro. I can't see an MVP. Al Duncan does. Al Duncan thinks she would have been the biggest star on the planet, not the biggest basketball player, not the biggest woman basketball player, not the biggest athlete, the biggest star on the planet if she hadn't got injured. That's what Al Duncan thinks. I can call that an insane take. There's no indication that was true. There's only one person was going to move the needle because she had the it factor. The fact that Mike Tillery and other Hatelins don't see the it factor, I don't know what to say. I don't know why. I can't look into them. There's a few white people that don't see the it factor in Caitlin Clark. So it's not always race, but there does seem to be a lot of black people that don't see the it factor in Caitlin Clark. A high percentage. That's all I can say. There's a lot of black people that support him. Black males support Caitlin Clark a lot because they know basketball. That's why. Black females, they got that sisterhood going. They got that sisterhood. They got tribalism going. they're not as likely to support Caitlin Clark, black females. And that's what's going on there. I think they relate to the women basketball players in two ways, female and black. So they're less likely to be objective about Caitlin Clark. The black males, they're more objective because they don't have their relationship about they don't feel like they have to stick up for the woman. They may want to stick up for a black person, but not a woman. And they also, black males follow basketball twice as much than typical person does because there's studies on that. So they know basketball. So they know Caitlin Clark. In other words, they're smart about it. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's pretty logical. So we'll see. Tillery versus Rudy. No one would get a word in edgewise. I couldn't get one in, and I'm the host of the show. No, I would have them on at the same time. I'd have to turn their mics off so the other one person can talk. There's really no other way I could do it. That's what they had to do with Trump. I'd have to do that. You guys want to see that? I'm going to tell them that it's going to be like this guy speaks for 2 minutes, and then I'll turn the mic off, and then he speaks for 2 minutes. There's no way that'll be worse than what it was tonight. So you guys agree with me? I'd have to turn their mics off? Give me a yes or no down below. I think that's the only way it would work with Rudy and Michael Tillery. We want to see that train wreck. Oh, that made my day. That was funny. What's his name? Jay? That was funny. It would be a train wreck, but it wouldn't be that much of a train wreck if I turned their mics off, right? I mean, the viewpoints would be because Rudy thinks that Caitlin Clark is the best player in the league already. I don't agree with him, just like I don't agree with Adrian, but I don't think it's like, bizarre viewpoint. I think it's too strong because he doesn't value defense at all. But you got one guy who thinks Caitlin Clark is the best person in the league already. The other person doesn't think she's in the top 10. One person who probably agrees with me that she's the best player since Cheryl Miller. Another person who doesn't think she's in the top 30 in college. Leave the mics on. I don't know that. I don't know if that would work. Oh, I can't wait to see what Rob thinks of Michael Tillery. He's going to say, "Oh, it would be a train wreck. It would be a train wreck." No, Caitlin Clark. No, Caitlin Clark's not the best player in the league. Chelsea Gray is. Come on, I follow Natalie Esquire. She's an attorney, so I follow her. I know that Chelsea Gray still is. Doesn't matter about that she's hobbled and she's never led the league in assists. Let me just point something out to people who are still in the audience. I went and looked up all the greatest NBA point guards in the league, and I'm going to put this on a video. And I ranked the top 10 point guards of all time, the best I could according to what I've read and looking at the stats. And every one of the top 10 point guards in the history of the NBA led the league in assists at least 1 year in their career. Chelsea Gray has never led the league in assists ever in her career. That doesn't prove 100%. She's not a great point guard, but it proves she's not the greatest point guard of all time. That's for sure. It proves she shouldn't be called the point guard and taking the name away from what Caitlin Clark should have. Now we got to think of a name for Caitlin Clark that's higher than point guard. How do you do that? How do you get higher than point guard? Point universe? I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. She stole Caitlin Clark's name. So, I mean, does that make sense to you, what I just said? She's never led the league in assists. The top 10 NBA point guards of all time all led the league in assists at least once, and are all in the top 20 in assists of all time for career-wise. And she never led it. I don't know what to say. Sue Bird was better than her. Yeah. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If I was on what's that show that's being canceled on after pardon the interruption? What's it called? What's that show being canceled? Where they give points for comments and stuff like that. You guys know what show I'm talking about? ESPN. Around the horn. Thank you, Basil. I'm spacing out. Sorry, senior moment. Okay. Okay. So around the horn, if we were doing around the horn, how many points would I have in those 2 hours? How many points would Mike have? How many points would, well, they were not as long, so they did great. I thought they did great. I thought Ack and DePope did great, even though DePope can't show up on time twice now. First was his excuse about Eastern time, but now I just think he's like that. Let's just do me and him, because these guys weren't on as long. How many points did I get, and how many points did Mike get for points made? Go ahead. There's 43 of you out there. If we're, you know how round the horn is? The guy goes, do, point, and gives you a point every time they do that. I want to know how many points I would have got. Maybe we'll go back and we'll do it by every minute and stop it, and then go in the computer and decide how many points to give me and see what the debate was. You know, in my other shows, I thought we all got in a lot of great points. It was just, it wasn't a contest, because Adrian Ross is great, Robin Lundberg was great, Ack's great. So everybody did great. Everybody got great points, and there's no contest. It was, and if it was all close. But in this one, I don't know. I didn't want to say it was like 100-0, but it was pretty close to that. 20-10. Oh. Sorry. It was about 99-1. I'm sorry. Take away points. I know he might have been -3. I made 2 points in 2 hours. I only made 2 points for Deem. You just give me a hard time. You're full of it. I know you. I know your personality. 2 points. Anyways, that was bizarre. Respect my living experience. I know you guys won't give me credit. I have the tape to prove it. That's all I have to say. Oh, he was shouting too. And he was shouting to me on the phone, not letting me speak. Well, he wouldn't shut up. I didn't dig into his living experience. What can I say? What is this? A score? 28 seconds left. Nebraska. You missed the start mark. Oh, well, you can go back and watch it, right? Too much shouting. You mean too much shouting like a TOO, Vonda? Nebraska won. Who they play? He should come back on. I don't know. I'd have to turn his mic off, and then he'd think that was rude and unfair. But it's unfair that he wouldn't stop talking or answer my questions. It's not a debate. It's not a debate if the other person won't stop talking and won't answer your questions. Sorry, I don't think that's a fair debate. I mean, he lost anyways, but I don't think it's a fair debate. It's not worth it to me to have a debate with someone that won't stop talking and won't answer my questions. Someone else wants to debate him, that's fine. I would have to turn the bikes off because Rudy goes on forever. So that would be like one person gets the mic. And 30 minutes later, okay, now the other person can talk. Oh, so they'd get one question in, and that would be the show. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would have to do that. So I wrote a question today, which I'm going to ask. I think it's a great question. You can tell me whether you like it. And it's going to be asked probably on Monday night. You want me to just save it for Monday night and surprise you, or you guys want to hear it? I guess I'll save it. Save it. I have a good question for Monday night. Yeah. I'll save it. But anyways, I know everybody thinks I'm crazy that I think she's going to be the first to win. She's going to be the first to win 5 MVPs and the first to win 6 championships. I don't think she'll be the first to win 4. I think A'ja Wilson will slide in another MVP because they'll get tired of voting for Caitlin Clark, and A'ja Wilson's still young enough to be in her semi-prime in the next 5 years. And then Juju's going to steal some away from Caitlin Clark. Not necessarily steal him like didn't deserve him, but she has a great year and Caitlin Clark has an off year. And then when Caitlin Clark gets older, because she's 3 years older, Juju's going to win some. But Caitlin Clark's going to win a lot of MVPs and a lot of championships. If it doesn't happen, it's because modern science can't fix some kind of weird injury that she gets or something. Because I don't think she's going to have kids in her 20s. I think she's going to take her career very seriously. Do I read all the chat when the show is going? It's hard for me to read the chat and then listen to what the other person's saying and then cut them off if the person's going too long. I got to kind of concentrate on what they're saying. But I go back and look at all the chat later. Okay. Yeah, it's no problem. If you guys don't want her on, that's fine. Well, here's my reasoning. And I know Adrian Ross said the same thing that you're saying, that she said unless she's way better, she's not going to get the MVP vote. If that was true, like I think 4th was right for MVP voting. So I think she got a fair vote this year. So it doesn't indicate to me that if it's a really close race, yes, A'ja Wilson or Juju Watkins will beat Caitlin Clark in an MVP race. I get that. If it's a really close race. But I don't think many years it will be that close. She just needs to have a decent amount better. Because there's also white voters that like Caitlin Clark. They might vote for her just because she's white for all I know. I don't know. But I thought 4th was fair. So that's not true, Vadim. I read the chat when I'm solo. Yeah. No, the question is, if Caitlin Clark was black and Juju was white, would Mike Tillery have the same viewpoint? I could say that about a lot of blacks that are Caitlin Clark haters. Would they have the same viewpoint? And the answer is almost for sure no. I can't get in their head. I'm just telling you logically that's what it says to me. She will not get the votes until year 4 or 5. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you guys could be right. I'm just telling you, if she had not made first or second team All-American this year, I would agree with you 100%. I would even make a prediction that she'd get any MVPs if that was the case. But you saw ESPN, they all like those voters, but they weren't black voters. They were like, they all said Caitlin Clark should win Rookie of the Year. They even said she should win first team All-Pro on ESPN. I don't even know if some of them were, I think some were voters and some weren't. But, there's probably more white voters than black voters that are given those 67 votes, but it should be transparent. But more championships than MVPs for Clark. Yeah. That's why I said she's going to be the first to win 6 championships. That's one more than the MVPs, I said. So I agree with that. she'll win championships because she will attract the best free agents, and that'll give her an advantage. Now, the Hatelins will say that's an unfair advantage, and she can only win with great players. But the last I checked, nobody won without either a great all-around team or great players. It never won a championship. So, anyways, there was one voter. There was one voter that didn't put a single white player on their MVP ballot. I believe it. They put Angel Reese in 4th. It's bizarre. Well, I don't know. I don't have enough life experience for that debate, I don't think. Oh, I don't know enough about the history of basketball. I haven't interviewed 800 people yet. So, anyway. You're not a troll, but you'll make an exception. Make an exception for what? All right, everyone. Anyone want to donate to the channel? There's super chats and super thanks down below. I have to go, and it's almost 8:30. At 3 hours, my voice is going to be shot. Got to get back from Monday. On Monday will be Rosalina Lee. Is that pronounced her name? Sorry, do I have that right? Rosalina Lee. Sorry, let me get a drink. For the next 2 Mondays, Adrian Ross will be on. Next Monday will be Rosalina Lee, Adrian Ross, and AK Nation. Or Act Nation. So that will be a great show on Monday night. Robin Lundberg said he had fun and will be back, but not all the time. And Rudy said he can't do Thursdays. I invited him on for tonight, but I didn't think it was a good fit with Adrian Ross. So on Mondays, Rosalina Lee, is that right? Do I get that right? Anyway, she seems really nice and smart, and she's on Monday for her first appearance. What's a big boy table for the next debate? I don't understand. Rudy was on ball dropping last night? Really? Wow, I want to be on ball dropping. As long as he doesn't cut my mic off. Well, I don't know how to pronounce it. Do you know how to pronounce it? I don't know. Of course I'll do that. I look it up. I'm just not looking at anything right now. Now I know he's invited. Now I know that he knows he's invited. I've left him messages on his videos. I've emailed him. I try to contact him. I don't know what to say. But I like him, and I like Chicks Dig Scars also. I don't know his name, but I think they're both intelligent and put out good videos. And I like the sarcasm. I like sarcasm, so I like them too. But they're both in Philly too. I think I think Ben's in Philly too. I know he's an Eagles fan. I'm in Philly. We're all three of us in Philly. Could each have a drink. Are you gonna do a bracket contest? Oh, should we? For the women or the men or both? It'd be hard to run. Does someone want to? I don't know if I have time to run a bracket contest. Mike had no sense of humor. Well, I had, once I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but when you say something like, I don't know, like something from another planet. Oh, you guys are doing predictions? Okay. So the real games start tomorrow, right? Because the big seeds all got buys and stuff like that. And then they have easy games today. So the real games start tomorrow. Did you guys see the play that I played in the beginning? They played at the Boston College player. What a play that was. Oh my God. Yeah, he does take. I don't like being talked down to. Like, seriously. He did that on the phone to me too. He was talking down to me like I'm delusional and that only he knows the truth. I don't like being talked down to. Anyways, Iowa plays tonight at 9. Okay, so let me get my dinner then. And yeah, I called him Woody. I don't know why I said Woody instead of Rudy. I don't know. Maybe I was nervous his first show. But anyways, yeah, let me get my dinner and then I guess I'll watch Iowa. Who are they playing tonight? Who's Iowa playing? I know they were on. Let me see. You got who's Iowa playing? No one knows. Michigan State. Okay, yeah, my brother went to Michigan State. That's right. I forgot. Michigan State's 24th, right? And Iowa's around. They got some votes. They were like 28th or 29th. So that should be a good matchup. They're not technically ranked, but they're listed as having votes. So they're about 28th. So they got 24th against 28th in the country. That's a good matchup. I'll watch that. I'll call my brother up. See if he's gonna watch it. He watches every men's and men's basketball and football for Michigan State game there is. He watches every game. He goes to them and stuff like that. He graduated a long time ago from Michigan State. So I'll give him a hard time. By the way, he's a lawyer and he knows a lot about civil law and corporate law. So when that lawsuit starts to make the news again, what's her name? Deanna Hambry. I'm going to have him as a guest and explain the ins and outs of the law because he can explain it better than I can because he does more of that type of law. And I'm going to have my brother as a guest if provided he agrees. I haven't asked him yet, but I was waiting for that to become more details to come out. And then more legal things need to be explained. Anyways, all right. So my eldest brother is he was voted super lawyer about 10 times in New York City. He does international corporate law, and he'll know more about the civil law aspects of the contracts than I will, because I did a lot of criminal law and not a lot of civil law. So I will bring him on once that lawsuit comes into the news again. And so we can get really good breakdown. Instead of you getting opinions from non-lawyers, you're going to get opinion from a brilliant lawyer. My brother is actually brilliant. Went to NYU. He turned down Columbia Law School. Graduated in cum laude from NYU. And so we'll get a really good lawyer. So anyways, good night. See you later. Don't tell my brother I said he was brilliant. I'll go to his head. See you later.